Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
So, first of all, that's a fucking hell of a ring, sir. Look at that. That's the real deal. I always want to see what one of those like. Holy shit! Fuck, look at the size of his finger, bro. My thumb slides over there like nothing. That's hilarious. If you don't think Vikings were real,
Size 18.
that's hilarious. That is so fucking big, dude. What's your thumb?
I don't know.
Your thumb's like a fucking broomstick. That's ridiculous.
Fucking giant thumb.
How big were you in high school?
My senior year, I was like 6'5", 280 pounds. I was a heavyweight. I wrestled heavyweight. So
Wow. Did you ever think about doing MMA?
Yeah.
Did you?
Well, I trained. I started boxing with Henry Wolfe down in South Florida
No
with
shit.
the Black Zillions.
I love those guys.
Back in 2011, 2012 when I first got into the league, and I was training for the combine. And I was like, man, I'm really into this MMA stuff, and I just started doing it and like sparring with just like wrestling with Overeem a little bit.
Oh,
so
wow.
I would wrestle with him, keep him against the cage, and just drop to a single, bring him down, and he was like,
Right.
"You wrestle?" I was like, "Yeah, I wrestled, man. I know what I'm doing." And then when I moved to Colorado, like full time training, because I used to go to South Florida to train, and I stopped that once I got married. So I just had to end that, and I moved to Trevor Whitman's gym.
Oh, that's
So I
a
started
great
training with
fucking
Trevor.
gym too.
Yeah, and Trevor was like, "Hey, you should really think about maybe fighting, because it's like you're 290 pounds and you're moving like this. Imagine a 265." And I was like, "Dude, I'm not doing that. It's just not worth it."
Is it not worth? Well, did you I know you retired from football, and you're still in the prime of your life. Did you retire because of injuries? Did you decide that you had enough? Like,
Yeah, it was a combination of all that. So I had double hip surgeries. I tore the labrums off the bone.
oh Jesus Christ!
I'd been my NFL, like the injuries I had while I was in the NFL were just out of control, man. 2013, I bruised my spinal cord. I was paralyzed for 3 hours, and then I played 2 weeks later.
Oh my God!
And I
How
played for 12.
how?
It was miserable. Every time I got touched, my arms would go numb. And I'm a defensive lineman, so my head's getting hit every play.
Holy shit! What was the play that made your spine get bruised?
So I was playing like on the end of the line on the right side, and I was playing a cut block. Somebody tried to cut my legs out, so I'm playing sprawled out to play the cut block, and then the fullback hit me on top of the head. Oh. And it did. I was awake. It didn't knock me out. It just it felt like when you sit on a shitter for too long, get up.
Yes.
Exactly how my whole body felt from the nose down.
Oh my God! You must have been terrified.
I was scared, but then when I could feel them like touching my toes. Like a couple hours after it happened, I was in the hospital. That's when I just started making jokes and stuff because I knew something in my head just said, "You're gonna be fine." I just had a feeling. I had no choice. I was a young kid, 22 years old, 23 years old.
Wow.
And then 12 weeks later, I was playing good football still somehow. 12 weeks later, I had a seizure, like a bad seizure. It almost killed me. I was in a coma for 36 hours.
So what did the seizure come out of a play, or did it?
No, it's because I wasn't getting fresh blood to my brain because there was a bruise on that spinal right at the base of my brainstem, and it never healed. I didn't let it heal. 2 weeks isn't going to heal a bruise,
Holy shit!
It never healed, so I wasn't getting fresh blood to my brain, so I was running on just like pure adrenaline. And
How did they clear you to play 2 weeks later?
they told me it was a stinger.
Oh God!
They said it's just a stinger. You're fine. They said, when you have a big warehouse and you flip the lights off, they come right off. But when you turn them on, it takes a while for them to come back on. That's what they told me happened.
They're comparing you to a warehouse.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, motherfucker, I'm a human.
That's when I realized, man, I was like, they don't care about us.
No, there's another guy waiting to take your spot. That's what's so crazy.
And that's why you have to play.
Yeah.
That's why guys play hurt and play
Yeah.
banged up.
So how much time did you get to train before you went and played 2 weeks later? Like how much?
I just went straight into practice the next week.
Wow. Right, the next week.
Yeah.
So 1 week after you're paralyzed, you're in practice.
Yeah. So they tried to keep me in the hospital after the game. And I was like, when's the plane leaving? And they were like, they're getting ready to go to the plane right now. It's a preseason game. And I was like, okay, well, I'm getting on that plane then. So I had them take me from the hospital to the plane.
So the doctors wanted to keep you in the hospital.
Yeah, doctors wanted me to stay, but the team doctors were like, you're good, we can go.
These team doctors are savages. Oh my God.
Well, they did the X-rays and the MRIs right away, you know, and
Right.
So that we went straight to the ER. I was on a stretcher, you know, into an ambulance. They had to bring the ambulance on the field. I couldn't move. I was just stuck in the ground. It was like I was melted. You know, I couldn't move at all. All my muscles were just. It was the weirdest feeling, man. But like I said, it started. I was feeling better, but I think I just tricked my brain into thinking like I was in survival mode. I've been in survival mode since the day I came out of the womb, man. I just like always surviving. You know, just trying to survive through whatever it is that's going on. It's like I disassociate from it and
I guess
just
that's
make it through.
Great skill to have if you want to play professional football, right?
Well, I don't know if you saw what Deion Sanders just said about what he's looking for in a quarterback. He wants two-parent home. It's a two-parent home, a 3.5 GPA, and he wants the complete opposite for a defensive lineman.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, it's either football or prison pretty much type of motherfucker is what he wants.
But if you think about the position and you think about what you guys have to do, it kind of makes sense. You have to be fucking barbaric.
Yeah, it is a fucking war in there. You got the size of these offensive linemen now, I mean, they're fucking 350 pounds, and there's two of them, and they're trying to move you every fucking play.
Oh my God.
And you better, if you play pussy, you're gonna get fucked. That's what I always say. You go out there playing pussy, you're going to get fucked. That's just the way it goes.
What is the average lifetime of a career like in the NFL?
It's 2.5 years.
Wow.
Because at that third year, you get vested. So vested means you get pension and all the benefits that come with that.
And most guys don't get there. You know, we talk about it with fighting all the time that a real elite athlete in his prime has like 9 years. You got like that's the consensus is there's like 9 years at peak performance, and then it's just too much. The wheels fall off, the injuries stack up, you know, the time and training, and then sometimes it's the enthusiasm too. Guys lose that fire that made them a savage in the beginning. But football's even worse. I mean, it's even shorter time.
Well, it's shorter, but your earnings, right? Your earnings, you don't get to that. You're on a rookie contract for your first 4 years. So you get drafted and you're on that rookie contract. You make pretty much slotted out the money. You don't, if you're not a top 10 pick in the draft, then you're not really making life-changing money, you know. I had $7 when I got drafted, though. I didn't even have a bank account. I didn't have shit. I was just a fucking poor-ass kid from Ohio. I went to Cincinnati, and I lived with Travis and Jason Kelsey. We all lived in the same house. I don't know if you know who those guys are, but Travis is the best tight end in the history of the NFL now. Jason's going to be the best center, both Hall of Famers. Just played against each other in the Super Bowl. And then our quarterback went up to Canada and won 2 Grey Cups. So we got 4 Super Bowls and 2 Grey Cups in that house. And we were fuck-ups. We were fucking idiots.
But again, don't you kind of want that from? I want football players to be a little reckless.
You have to be.
Yeah. Same with fighters.
I don't want a fucking Boy Scout.
Exactly. When John Jones kept getting into trouble, and people are like, "Can you believe what John Jones did?" I'm like, John Jones is a wild motherfucker. That's why he's the greatest of all time. Like you need an element of psycho. You
have to be fucked up.
You have to be fucked up.
You do. It's just the way it goes. You got to be a little fucked up to do it.
Is that true with all of them? Is that true? Like you've been around the greats. You've been around some amazing players. Like, is that true with all of them? No.
It's all most D linemen, interior defensive linemen. Though they're fucked up. They are. They're just fucking different. Like Aaron Donald is a different motherfucker. He's going to go down as the best defensive tackle to ever do it. But he's fucking wild. Like he's crazy.
Do you think
he tries to kill people out there?
He came in with that, or do you think that also developed over the course of his career?
I think it develops over your life, right? I don't know his life story or anything, but most of us have been through some shit,
right?
You know, and it's just you can kind of see it when you meet a guy. He's just fucking different, right?
Yeah.
And when you meet guys. I have like Peyton Manning, good friend of mine now. And, you know, we were teammates for 4 years, won a Super Bowl together, and he still lives in Denver, so we see each other all the time. But like Peyton was like complete opposite. Like he like controlled the room. Everything he did was like dialed in. It was so dialed and so professional. Like, he came to work, like, dressed professionally, right? Defensive lineman, we're coming in fucking slides and fucking shorts and T-shirts and shit, right? He would show up fucking buttoned up with a suitcase or with a briefcase, you know, and we're right to the film room. We're going fucking to the weight room. Right. That's where we're going. So, it was just a different vibe, man. And then like DeMarcus Ware, fucking ultimate, like such a professional. Everything about him was professional. But the great D linemen that are interior guys, they're usually fucked up. John Randall, you've heard of him?
Yes.
This guy fucking slept on a fucking dirt floor growing up.
Jesus.
You think he's not a little fucked up?
Yeah. And then there's the sport itself, which, I mean, just the amount of impacts you guys are taking on a regular basis.
Every day you're getting hit in the fucking forehead. Every single day.
So, like, when someone talks to you about, like, fighting in MMA, you're probably like, I've done enough.
I don't want to get kicked and fucking elbowed in the head, punched. No. If I was going to do anything, it was going to be boxing.
Yeah?
Yeah. But, fuck, because the Klitschko was still the champ, and Trevor was like, you could quote him on this. He was like, we could talk a bunch of shit and fucking get the word out there, get you a couple amateur fights, get you winning a couple fights, and he's like, in 2 years we'll be fighting for $100 million. That's what he told me.
Trevor's a wild dude, but he's also a genius.
Oh, it's so much. He took my pass rush game to another level. Like,
Yeah?
Yeah,
Really?
because I was good at figuring out angles from wrestling on people, but he took it to another level of like levels, like taking my levels down. Like I could bring my level up and get it back down and come out of there with power. So I was just like creating angles on guys and doing shit they'd never seen.
And is that from footwork drills? Like,
Yeah, doing footwork. It's all footwork. Everything is footwork. It starts with your feet first, and your hands will follow. And he would have me doing like switch jabs and shit like that, and I would use that shit on the field. I would switch my feet last second, cross up, and then cross body, and then be able to lower my level and be able to accelerate out of that. And it just like took my fucking pass rush to another level.
That makes sense. You know, like, if you learn new skills like that, like, you know Vasily Lomachenko,
Yes.
the boxer?
Yeah.
His dad made him do Ukrainian dance for 2 years. He made him stop boxing. He's like, look, you're going to be an amazing boxer, but what I really want you to concentrate on is your feet. And now if you watch him fight, have you ever seen him fight?
Yeah.
See if you can find a Lomachenko highlight. His footwork is insane. Like, he's standing in front of a guy, and then he'll like switch and throw a jab and circle off to his left and catch him again, then circle off to his right. The guy does not know where the fuck he is.
Yeah. How are you
He's just
supposed to play chess against that? You know what I mean? Because it's a dance out there.
He's such a wizard, man. And that,
Look at him.
like
Oh.
his footwork came about from, you know, all the stepping. It's like, like a matador. I mean, the fact that he could just stand, look at that.
Look at that.
I mean, these angles are insane. And then he lights off punches. He's the most beautiful of any guy I've ever seen in terms of footwork, because it's like you're really watching him dance. Because of the dance background, like, his footwork looks beautiful. I mean, my God, who fucking moves like him?
Look,
and by
guys
the way,
just put their hands up. They're like, fuck, I don't know what's coming.
he's really not a lightweight. You know, he fought Teofimo Lopez and lost, and he's fighting these bigger guys, but he's really like a 130-pounder. That's his real weight class. And if there was big money fights at that weight class and he didn't have to keep going up, he's a motherfucker, dude.
Probably wouldn't be beat.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it's all from footwork.
Yeah, that's where it all starts, man. It's your base. And yeah, so what the fuck were we talking about?
We were just talking about skills that you picked up training with Trevor.
Yeah.
You don't want to fight.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do it because I didn't want to get hit in the fucking head anymore.
Smart.
And then when it came to stopping with the NFL, like when I was like, I'm done, I played 8 years in Denver, which was awesome. But then I dislocated my elbow bad going into a contract year in 2019. I was having my best season in my career. Year 8, balling out, about to get another payday. And it was like a dead play. So the whistle didn't get blown. A couple guys jumped off sides, and the whistle gets blown halfway through the play. So half the fucking field is moving at full speed, and half the field's not. And it's like a 4th and inches play. So I try to make the fucking tackle, and I like slow up, and I end up slipping and falling. And I'm going to get up, and our 330-pound nose tackle goes to he's like running straight at me, and his fucking shin hits me right in the elbow, and it goes to the ground. Oh! Dislocated all the way to the fucking ground. I'd never been in so much pain. It hurt so fucking, made me want to throw up. I was throwing up in my mouth because I was grabbing at it and trying to put it back in. Oh. Because in 2016, I did that with my right elbow. It came out, and I put it right back in and just kept going. I mean, that's the shit. Your fingers get popped out all the time. You just put them in and go. Like, There's no time to fuck around. And I was trying to get it to go in, and I could just feel it grinding on the bone, grinding against each other, and it was like making me fucking ill.
Oh.
Then they took me in the locker room, and I was fucking pissed because I knew it was going to cost me a bunch of money. That elbow deal was going to cost me. I knew it probably cost me $20 million.
Oh.
Fucking pissed. My own teammate, he didn't mean to. It's not his
Yeah.
fault, but it was like on a dead fucking play. I was losing my shit. I fucking slammed my helmet. I was like, these motherfuckers. Like, I was blaming the refs. I'm blaming everybody. fucking refs. I'm going to sue the fucking refs. Like, what? My turn. Or, you gotta think. And here's the other thing. Before games, I was taking microdoses. So I'm microdosed, and I'm at like full.
You taking mushrooms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, before games. So I'm taking mushrooms.
That's the Viking in you.
Yeah. I'm fucking taking mushrooms and fucking Adderall.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Before
What
I play.
a combination.
Yeah.
What is that like? Mushrooms and Adderall.
Dude, the fucking focus is out of control. And I would just like, before games, I would get myself pissed off. So I just would start thinking about my childhood, like the shit that I went through as a kid.
Whoa.
And they would fucking get me in this rage mode. And it was like this crazy controlled rage.
So Adderall, mushrooms, and childhood rage.
Yeah.
All together in a 280-pound savage. Dude.
Well, I was like 300 pounds then,
Oh, my God.
I was like 20 pounds heavier than I am now when I was playing.
Oh, my God.
Just fucking such a meathead, saying wild, crazy shit to quarterbacks. I told a guy I was going to fucking eat his kids. And
Oh, my God.
it was crazy.
What did he say?
He didn't say shit. He never talked. I played against this guy twice a year for 8 years, and that was in year 4 that happened. So 4 years straight, he never said another word to me.
Oh, my God.
He was like, "This guy's a fucking sicko." Once I got married and had kids and stuff, though, I was like cooled it on saying shit like that. But that's what you do, man. It's a fucking
Right.
head game.
It's a head game.
I'm trying to get in his head.
Yeah, 100%. I always try to explain that to people. People, oh, Conor McGregor's a fucking asshole. The things he says, I'm like, it's part of the game. I mean, I get it. You don't want to hear those things. I get it. I get it, but that's legal and that works.
It works.
It's strategy. It's Sun Tzu, Art of War.
Well, listen to the shit Tyson would say.
Oh my God!
And that's what happened. I was, it's funny. I was actually before I came here, I was down in Nashville with Kid Rock.
Oh, no shit.
Staying at his place. Awesome fucking place.
He's a great guy.
Dude,
isn't
he's
he?
the best.
His place is amazing.
Unreal.
His
it's
pool
like the
hall.
dream place.
He's got a fucking church.
Yeah, he's got a fucking church. He uses
How
the
about
church.
the White House?
Dude,
It's the most wild shit you've ever seen in your life.
the wildest shit I've ever seen. And then I'm like, Bob, show me around this fucking place. Like, what the fuck?
We should explain
it's
to people what he did.
27,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Fucking.
He built a White House.
Yeah.
Like it looks exactly like the White House, but it's bigger than the actual White House.
Yeah, it's fucking phenomenal.
And it's just a party house. It has one bedroom and one guest bedroom. And it's 27,000 feet. Jamie, you got to go. Next time we're in Nashville, you got to go. It's the most. He's got a golden shower, so it's a room.
Golden toilet, golden shower.
Yeah, the room is as big as this studio, and it's all the tile on the wall is gold. Everything's gold. He's like, get it, golden shower.
Yeah.
He's got a giant gold elevator in the middle, like right when you walk in through the front door. And the contractor said to him, he goes, a lot of people like to hide their elevators. He goes, fuck that. I want people coming over my house going, Kid Rock's got a fucking gold elevator.
Dude, some of the like antiques and shit he's got in there too.
Yeah.
Like he's got the hammer they used to fucking knock down Bin Laden's door.
Whoa.
He's got that hammer.
Whoa.
That's like one of his like prized fucking possessions, I think.
Oh, no shit.
Because he fucking. Like,
Is he sure that's really the hammer? Who did he get it from?
I don't know.
Because that's what I was going to sell somebody a hammer. Like, bro, this is the one that knocked down Bin Laden's door.
Yeah. I think it was a gift.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was gifted to him by the guy that was there and fucking used it, you know?
Kid Rock, the thing about Kid Rock, too, is he's got so many hits. Like, that guy could tour to the end of time. So he could do something stupid like build a White House.
Dude, that place is phenomenal.
Huge
He's got this.
gym.
How about that double wide?
Yeah, it's amazing.
This fucking double wide that's like a 5-star resort in there.
And how about the view off of his fucking back porch, too? The
Nashville,
view
yeah.
It's incredible.
Beautiful. He's like the highest point in Nashville, too.
Yeah. No, he's living the redneck dream.
But what I was saying is this motherfucker was like, you know, I was telling him about she was asking me like, you know, where I was from and about we were on a duck hunt together and I was telling him this. And he's like, well, who fucking raised you? And I said, you did, motherfucker.
Whoa.
I was raised on Kid Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, fucking The Rock. Like that's who raised me.
Wow.
Mike Tyson. Like those are the motherfuckers I looked up to.
Wow.
I didn't have any other like role model in my life that I could look up to, so I had to look up to those guys in a way they just didn't give a fuck, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do.
So when you were growing up, was your mom around?
My mom was an alcoholic and struggled with drugs, and she doesn't know who my dad is. Like has no idea. You think by now like this motherfucker would just pop up, right?
Right.
But no. Like, nobody fucking knows who it is. Because she would go on these month-long blackouts.
Oh, man.
And just be fucking blacked out for a month. And, you know, she was abused as a child, too. You know, she was sexually abused and stuff. So she just kind of didn't break that cycle, right? Didn't break the chain. And then my stepdad was abusive. You know, he would fucking, you know, beat the shit out of he would beat the shit out of me, like, for fun. Like, that's what, if he was in a bad mood and I had my fucking mouth open even looking at him, he'd fucking pop my mouth and fucking throw me on the ground, you know, kick me in the stomach and shit.
Oh, man.
Like, you fucking pussy, you know, get up. You know, that's just the way he treated me. But I got to get out of that. I got out of that situation and broke that cycle. But, like, when people are like, you're fucked up, I'm like, well, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen when you fucking treat a kid like that? You know, my mother didn't really show me, I don't know what unconditional love felt like until I had a daughter.
Wow.
I didn't know what that felt like. And that was like the life change. It was so life-changing for me to have a daughter and to feel what that feels like. That unconditional, no matter what, I'll love you. Because I didn't know what that felt like, never had it. So it was...
Wow. Wow.
It was intense, man. My childhood was fucking intense, you know? Like even, you know, being in relationships, my wife is so patient with me because like my idea of intimacy was, you know, my mom, I slept in the attic, you know, in this tiny little fucking house. And we lived on all these, I went to 7 different elementary schools. We were always getting fucking booted out of the house. But when I was like really developing, going through puberty, like what I heard was them fist fighting each other, throwing each other through walls and then fucking 10 minutes later. Like that's what my idea of intimacy was. So like I had to like reprogram my brain.
How did you do that?
Did a bunch of treatments like, you ever heard of EMDR?
No.
So it's like, you believe in past lives?
I don't not believe. You know, I think there's a certain amount of undeniable genetic memory that people have. I think that's probably where things like ophidiophobia and arachnophobia come from, fear of snakes and spiders, because I think that a lot of that probably comes from there's a memory of you either watching someone die from it or you getting bit and surviving, and it gets through the DNA and it gets to people today.
Yeah.
Because there's certain people that they, for no reason, they'll see a snake and they just fucking freeze. Whereas other people see a snake and it's just like, oh, well, stay the fuck away from that. But it doesn't have that same visceral reaction.
The same fear.
There's things that people know, like you know to be scared of big teeth and scary things. And that's why kids are scared of monsters, right? It's because we evolved around big cats and things were eating us and wolves.
Yeah, saber-toothed tigers and shit.
Yeah, that's, I think.
Prehistoric animals, man.
I think those memories are in our DNA. So I have a feeling we have no idea what kind of information is stored that passes on from your genes.
Yeah.
Like one of the things I've noticed about my kids is they have very specific talents that I have, very specific. And also that like some other members of my family have. Like my uncle's an amazing artist. And I'm always like, how much of that is genetic? Like where's that coming from?
Right.
Like where's this a bit like my youngest daughter is fucking incredible. Her artwork's amazing. Like I watch her draw and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like she's 12. I'm like, how are you so good? Like she's like there's something I think that kids get from their parents. And maybe that is what past lives are. And maybe when someone has a seance or some shit and you know they tell a story about a past life, maybe that's in there somewhere, like deep in that
DNA
file
code, right?
system. Yeah.
It's all, I mean, we could get down the rabbit hole here, but it's, you know,
Yeah.
that DNA code.
We don't know.
You don't know what the fuck.
We don't know what's in there. Like it's in with animals, right? Like I got a dog. He's a golden retriever, sweetest dog in the world. But like if that dog sees shit outside, he rolls around in it. Like he knows to roll around. Like I don't know what the fuck kind of instinct that is, but that's like in his system.
Yeah.
It's a very specific thing. You know, if he sees a squirrel, it's on, bitch.
Yeah.
Like I'm here to kill squirrels. You know, like it's on.
Squirrels and birds and shit like that. He
it's-
wants to chase them.
For him, it's squirrels. He's the squirrel killer. But
Well, that's probably,
It's in
I mean,
there.
that's the rodents, like small rodents and shit were what wolves were eating back then. You
it
know what I
must
mean?
be.
Or taking down, like,
Because my daughter has a Chihuahua. She has this little tiny Chihuahua Whippet mix. He's the shit. His name is Snoop. He's this tiny little fella. And him and Marshall are like best friends. Like, that's a rat. Like the size of a rat.
Yeah.
Like, how come you want to kill the squirrels, but that little dude is your buddy?
Because he knows.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like,
well, it's the same thing.
In there.
It's the same thing with like big dogs and babies, right? Mm-hmm. They just are soft around babies. Like they know.
They go slow.
Because think about that. When wolves first started coming into little fucking nomad camps, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were feeding them, and they would keep them safe from the other wolves.
Yes.
It was the first fucking thing they learned was don't touch the fucking kids.
Yep.
Right? Or you get fucking killed.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So they didn't. They were soft and easy with the kids.
Especially
and it's like
animals
in their
with
DNA.
floppy ears.
Yeah.
The ones with the floppy ears, they think that wolves, their ears droop to sort of show submissiveness. And that's how wolves, when they transitioned and became dogs over time, they developed like Labrador ears.
Yeah. That's so fucking crazy, the evolution
It's wild.
of dogs.
They're so close to us in a way because they're the same thing, but they look so different. You know, like you could take like a Great Dane, and if you could figure out the logistics, that could fuck a little poodle.
Right.
And then it would make a dog.
Yeah.
Like how are those the same animals? You know, and when you see
The lab created dogs that they have now, man, are just wild.
But you see someone like Shaquille O'Neal, and then you see like Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Like they could have kids.
Yeah.
Like the size difference, the way they look is so different. But we're a lot like domesticated animals in that way. And I guess it makes sense, right? Because humans all came out of Africa and they traveled all over the world. And they had to adapt to all these different climates, and that's what caused all the physical changes in people.
Have you read the book Species?
Yes. Yeah.
That fucking
Great book.
changed my life.
Very, very interesting, right? When you hear the history of us.
It's fucking wild that there were 7 different species.
Mm-hmm. They think there's more now. They think there's more. They keep finding one. They found a new one recently. They found some DNA of a recent human species that is different than any one that they found before.
And how old did they think that was?
I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. But I know they're in the neighborhood of there's some of these people that used to be humans that were around when modern humans were around. So like,
well, yeah.
So
we're the final product.
Are we? Though?
I'm not saying. I'm saying. Like,
I know what you're saying.
We killed off all the fucking other ones, right?
Yeah.
Like you were talking last night about how you have Neanderthal in you, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that like, imagine like seeing like an ape and being like, yeah, I'm gonna have sex with that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think people
That's
were
fucking crazy.
I think everybody was pretty close back then. I mean, I think when you're dealing with like Neanderthal mating with Homo sapiens, like,
yeah, they didn't look so much different. Right? It wasn't like a gorilla.
Hairy beasts, hairy beasts with fucking
like
deer
coming out of
skins
the
over their
cave.
dick. I mean, it is crazy that we got to where we are today, and that.
It's wild, the evolution of humans.
Yeah.
Now they're turning into like these fucking super nerds that are just
like
they fucking
genderless.
get on genderless, fucking
no testosterone,
soy boy, fucking.
It's weird,
out of control, man. It makes me crazy.
I think that's the future. I mean, I know it's not so good for you guys like you and I, but I think for the future, it seems like that's where this race is
I
headed.
think that's why we try to fight it so hard. It's like
I think so. I think there's part of it
goes
with
against
men.
everything in our DNA to fucking be like that.
Well, you have this DNA that did evolve through war and conflict and fighting off predators, and it gets ignited during a football game or it gets ignited during a fight. Like it's like and you feel alive.
I'm glad you brought this up because I was talking about this on another podcast a couple weeks ago, and I'm just trying to get my thoughts here and how I explained it. Sports were invented by dudes practicing to hunt.
Yeah,
like they're like, how can we fucking get ready to go hunt?
Or practicing war.
Yeah, we're practicing war. We're practicing hunting.
Yeah.
Like that's where sports come from. So that's why there's like this deep spiritual connection between battle and sports.
Yeah.
And hunting. It all kind of goes together. It was a great transition for me to get into bow hunting. I bow hunted when I was a kid too, but that was kind of like my escape. Football and bow hunting were my escape as a kid. That's where if I just stayed in the woods, man, because if not, I was just a loose fucking cannon. You never knew what was going to happen out there.
I interrupted you earlier. You were talking about past lives. We got off on a tangent. So let's get back to that, and then we'll go to bow hunting. So what is this therapy?
It's a light treatment. So they do it's a series. The way they do you like keep your eyes open and you do like a breathing series, and then they send these lights across your eyes, and it almost puts you in this trance.
Wow.
And I was able, and you're being guided pretty, there's like a therapist that's like kind of guiding you through it. Dude, at one point, I'm like, I'll be totally honest, I'm sitting there and I'm fucking just tears rolling out of my eyes. And I'm like, what the fuck, Because I was like releasing this trauma that like, because the body keeps the score, man. So I was releasing that trauma.
So this light thing and someone's guiding, like, what is it doing to your mind?
It took me, I was able to go into this, so I was able to go to my young self, to the young Derek, and I was able to like comfort him.
Whoa.
And like, it helped me grow as a person because I was stuck in that trauma.
Whoa.
Stuck there. I was like, I couldn't grow. You can't grow unless I had to like let him know, like, you're safe. It's all good. Shit sounds wild, but it's real, man. I really fucking did that. Like, and then we got into it deeper because some of my like frustration in life is not knowing who my father is and knowing my ancestors, because that's like important to me. So we were like dug deep, and this is before I ever did any kind of ancestry DNA shit. And we dug deep into these past lives. And it took me into this fucking Viking camp. And I was, dude, it's fucking wild. Like, I'm going to get into it. People are going to like be like, you're fucking nuts. But
so
I'm telling
are you under hypno? Like, what does it feel like? Are you being hypnotized?
It feels like you're in a dream.
You're in a dream.
I felt like I was in a fucking dream.
Are your eyes closed?
No, your eyes are open. My eyes are open, but like the lights kind of like, you can't see anything but the lights. So your mind is like the only thing that's really working. And you're breathing, and then you can hear this woman. And then like I go into this Viking camp and I'm there. And I'm like with my woman, right? And I'm getting ready to go to war. She's like putting me in fucking armor and or not armor, but putting my like fucking hide, like this wolf hide or something on me, And then I grab my fucking axe and a shield and I go to war. And I'm out there fucking like murdering people out on a fucking battlefield, just going ham, just fucking axing people. And like, it was crazy. Like,
so you felt this?
I could feel it. It was like I was doing it. And then when I came out of that, I was betrayed in this fucking
in the battle?
dream. I was betrayed by my brother. Whoever my brother was, they betrayed me because they didn't want me to marry this woman, because she was like, to them, she was like, they couldn't control me anymore.
Whoa.
So they didn't want me to marry this woman, and I did, and then they fucking had me killed.
This was all in this
experience. I wake up because my head was getting chopped off.
Holy shit.
That's what woke me up.
Holy shit.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Has that ever happened before or since?
No.
There was one time.
Yeah, I just did it. I did like 3 or 4 sessions, and like that was the last session, because I felt like I had found the roots, of like the trauma.
Wow.
So I fucking like
I wonder if that's in there, man.
So that made me, I was like, this is fucked up.
Sense.
Oh, I know that I know that your mind is the most powerful tool you have. So I know that it can play tricks on you too. And like, I watch movies and shit. So like, I was like, this shit could have just came from a movie, right? So I was like, let me do some DNA. Fucking Scandinavian all the way through.
Of course. Look at you. Look at you, dude.
I came from Scandinavia. My bloodline goes from Scandinavia, Germany and Ireland, and then straight to fucking Appalachia.
Wow.
So
wow. Holy shit.
Just all around Viking.
I just, people will dismiss that. They'll dismiss it as imagination and dreams and stuff. But I just wonder how much you carry. I mean, obviously some information is transmitted. It's transferred from your genes into your children. There's some that's.
Oh yeah.
Some of it is from them learning, being around.
Why do you think they know how to work a fucking phone at 3 years old already? They know how to fucking swipe it, and like it's like they just know.
I think that's just easy for those young, pliable minds to learn.
You don't think
they
you
know
don't
how
think
to do
that
shit that I don't know.
You don't think that that's passed down at all?
I don't know. I think
the technology stuff. Like, why are some people good with fucking computers? And like, dude, I get a computer and I want to snap it in half.
Yeah. I think some of it is probably passed down through the parents. I mean, they think like musical talent, like oftentimes it's, but then you got to go, well, they probably grew up in a musical household too. That probably contributed to it. But what you're talking about is something way more intense. And it makes me wonder, I mean, when people do have those past life dreams, or I always wonder if that's bullshit. Like there's always some little kid that can speak German that can tell you a story, or they grew up during the war, and you're like, what? Like you're 4.
Yeah.
Like there's a few of those, but I never know if those are real stories. Have you ever read any of those that are like very compelling?
I've looked into this. heavy one time. There's a guy, a doctor, an actual person out of college that's been studying as many cases as he could find about this. And I can't remember his name. I can look him up. He's got the info.
And what does he say?
I think he says it is accurate, but there's levels to it. There's different parts people remember. You can't force the child to go through it. You kind of just have to like let them say what they remember. And as soon as you start asking things, it freaks them out. Sometimes they start crying. But there's one I remember hearing. He was remembering stuff about this guy, this World War II pilot's friends that he had. He like almost named the ship I think they were on.
Whoa.
This guy, like, he died in a plane crash. He was shot down. He was having all these memories of it, but they went too far with it, I think, is also what happened. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about now.
Oh, wow.
So there's levels to it, too. But
I always wonder, because I always wonder, like, how much is it makes sense if these beings want to evolve and learn that you should have the lessons of the people from the past. They should be inside of you in some sort of a way. There's some sort of knowledge that gets transferred to children. It just makes sense.
Right.
If that's the case, you're going to have the most traumatic memories are going to be burned in there.
Mm-hmm. Because it's and then like even the ones that you experience in life, you bury those in your subconscious.
Yeah.
Right. So like when I think it's what from.
This is the doctor,
he's
Dr.
dead now,
Ian
so
Stevenson.
It's still going on. The studies are still going on. Division of Perceptual Studies at Virginia, I think, is where most of the research has been happening.
Wow.
Lot of studies have gotten into it. Some people are bullshitting, obviously,
For sure.
but there are many cases of people that seem to be not bullshitting.
Deathbed visions.
A lot of
67,
stuff.
I think, is
Various types of extrasensory perception, such as telepathy, apparitions, and deathbed visions, after-death communications or ADCs, poltergeists, experiences of persons who come close to death and survive, usually called near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, and children's memories of previous lives. Wow.
That's wild.
When you get a real scientist that's studying shit like that.
Yeah.
Because you got to wonder, like, it's so easy to dismiss those things. So easy to dismiss it, but the human mind and its just ability to acquire information and store it in there and to be able to remember things, like all that is weird enough as it is. I don't think it's that weird that those memories would transfer to children.
No, it makes sense to me.
It does.
But what the fuck do I know? You know.
Well, you have that. You have a memory that's pretty fucking intense that completely makes sense when you look at you.
Yeah, man. It's. So I just fully embraced it, man. I got fucking Odin tattooed all over me, and fucking
nice.
Big Odin, big fucking raven with the Odin sign on my chest and shit. Like I
Viking.
went into it, man, and just embraced it. So it's given me like a lot of peace, just kind of like
Knowing where you came
knowing
from.
where I come from, right? Because I didn't know I don't know anything.
Could you imagine being alive during the Viking times?
Oh, fucking savage.
Could you imagine those?
We're gonna
boats?
go rape and pillage. We're gonna like
See, that's
think
how
about
you
that. We're
think
gonna
about it. I think I'm gonna get raped and pillaged. That's what I think. You're thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna rape people. I'm thinking that's not my role in this. My role is running in the mountains. I have to get the fuck out of here. I see those boats pull up. I'm like, oh shit,
Dude,
we
imagine,
gotta go.
Imagine how fucking scary that was.
Oh my god.
Just a fucking Viking boat pulls up.
And not just one, probably.
Oh, just fucking
quite a
couple
few,
hundred of them,
and
probably.
they just can't wait to jump off the boat and fucking kill everybody.
And then it's have you watched that show Vikings?
Yeah,
It's
a great
pretty
fucking
fucking
show.
cool.
Have you seen The Northman, the movie?
Yeah.
Woo!
Dude, savage.
That movie's fucking good.
It's fucking good, man.
And it's like they really were. It's not modernized in any way. That's what I
Right.
loved about it. Like there's no 2023 person there.
it's accurate.
Yeah, it's that's what you would imagine those people would be like. Everyone's super flawed and fucked up. and
Yep. Fucking crazy, man. It's just
That final sequence when they fight it out, like, holy shit. Holy shit.
I loved it.
It's a great fucking movie.
I love that movie.
I mean, but that time in history, what an amazing time. I mean, it's just there's several times where I wish I could have a time machine and just watch. I just want to be there and see what was that really like.
Yeah.
And the Viking raids would be one of them for sure. I mean,
I think about that all the time. Steve Rinella actually said something. I think it was on your show, and he was talking about like Daniel Boone when he first crossed the Cumberland Gap. Imagine what that was like, you know. But you know, I think about that. But then I go and I think about imagine like discovering fucking Iceland for the first time.
right.
Right? Or imagine like seeing that shit. And then
Yeah.
or going to Greenland and seeing the fucking volcanoes erupting, fucking they got lava pouring out of them and shit. Like
And these
that
guys
probably
are on-
was fucking mind blowing.
Wooden boats powered by the wind, just floating across the
Well,
ocean.
they used
hoping don't
fucking
run out of
rowers
food.
too. They had fucking
Yeah.
whole like all those guys fucking rowed. Imagine how fucking strong they were, and their backs probably hurt like a motherfucker too.
Oh yeah,
It's fucking crazy to me.
yeah. no
For
shit.
miles and days,
Yeah, for days.
just eating nothing really. Those motherfuckers were savage.
yeah, people back then were just. It's so funny, like the hardships that people talk about today, and what
And
life
imagine
was
if they
like
had to
back
hear
then.
it. Imagine if
Yeah.
you said that to one of these guys, they'd be like, "You fucking pussy."
Is that a replica or a real one?
I think it's a found and then fixed
Oh wow.
because I don't think it stayed in that shape, but I think they put it back together.
Yeah, they've had a few of those where they sort of rebuilt them, and I'm like, that's new wood though. Look
Well.
at that thing. Imagine that thing just covered with savages, swinging axes.
And they're just fucking bloodthirsty. They got blood on their faces and shit.
And that was a normal part of human history. I mean, that was an era. How long did the Vikings last for? Like, how long was that era? They were traveling around fucking everybody up.
I mean, it kind of like faded off into when they got to England. They started like well, what it was is Christianity. Christianity, like kind of that was
Sedated
like
everybody.
the yeah.
793 to 1066 CE, the period during the Middle Ages when the Norsemen, known as the Vikings, undertook large-scale raidings, colonizing, conquest, wow,
And trading.
and trading. Whew. So they had a good run.
Just go steal everybody's shit.
Just
Take
fuck
their
everybody
women.
up. How was everybody so big? That's what's crazy. Like when you see those guys from Iceland, all those world powerlifting champion guys, and like the Mountain Thor.
Yeah.
Like how are they? How's everybody so big over there?
I think it's like an ancient DNA. That's,
It has to be.
You know, that's almost gotten lost. It's there, man. It's fucking. They say giants. You know, I believe that there was giants walking the earth at one point. There's probably fucking 8 foot tall, 9 foot tall motherfuckers. They say they were like 20, 30 feet tall.
Is that real?
Because
What
didn't
does
they
it say?
find a femur bone?
It says the average Viking was 8 to 10 centimeters, 3 to 4 inches shorter than we are today. The skeletons that archaeologists have found revealed that a man around 172 centimeters tall, 5'6", and a woman had an average height of 5'1". Yeah, but that's just the people that they killed.
Yeah, those are the ones that died.
Those are the skeletons they
Yeah.
found. Everybody else died in a fire
Everybody
on a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were a fucking.
Yeah.
If you were like, if you had to die, those are the ones that just didn't die with their sword in their hand.
Yeah, they just found them stomped to death.
Yeah. Just fucking ran through.
That's such a when they talk about the average, that's funny. So they killed a bunch of
Stomped
5'6"
to death.
dudes. It's like that's all that is. Like the amount of 5'6" dudes that got stomped to death is pretty high. We think they were all pretty short. Like this obviously that can't be true. Because the stories of them all being these giant savages, and then you have the guys in Iceland, you got guys like you. Obviously, they were giant.
Yeah.
It seems
It's pretty
obvious that the
obvious.
ones who were like at the front of the boats, the guys who were raiding, they were giant people.
Yeah. And I think that like the water was so much different back then that
Glacier
people drank
milk.
that glacier water. And
Yeah.
they were eating fucking muskox and fucking Irish elk. Remember the Irish
Yeah.
elk? They were eating shit like that.
Yeah.
So like they were eating they were just like meat, leaves, and berries.
High protein and
fucking
murder.
tons, yeah,
And mushrooms.
and mushrooms. They used to do like ayahuasca. Those Vikings are like really into that.
Well, I know they were into mushrooms, right? They would
yeah,
they would take mushrooms before they would go on. That was in the show too.
Yeah.
The show was great because there was no real good guys. Like the people that they were storming the castle and killing them, they were cunts too.
Yeah.
So it's like you didn't really mind that they were getting murdered.
Well, everybody was fucked up back then,
Everybody's
right?
fucked
Like everybody was fucking evil.
Yeah.
You had fucking kings that just owned all the land and would be like, nope, you can't eat anything off this land.
Yeah.
You're gonna starve.
That's the real Robin Hood story.
Yeah.
What Robin Hood was really about was hunting.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not that long ago. That's not that
It's
long
not.
ago.
No.
That's
When
what's
you think
crazy.
about how long, like, it's just a little blip.
a tiny little blip.
Just a fucking blip.
Do you ever pay attention to guys like Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson and these guys that think that there was a huge reset of civilization?
I've heard about the reset. But
They-
I talk more about that because
They
that's
think
interesting
that
as
there
hell
was
to me.
natural disasters, probably comet impacts, around 11,800 years ago. And
Okay,
it
yep.
reset civilization and probably knocked us back into the Stone Age.
Yeah.
And that it makes sense if you think about when you're talking like 1,000 years ago with the Vikings and 2,000 years ago with the Romans and just how savage and barbaric people were. But yet thousands of years before that, they built the pyramids. Like, how'd they do that? Well, if something happened that like wiped everyone out back down to like just pure savage people that just scratching and clawing to stay alive, and then they rebuilt civilization, boy, you would have the echoes of that barbarism just running through cultures. And that's what we have.
Yep.
And that's really when you see the Vikings, when you think about the Mongols, you think about the horrific shit that people did to each other just a couple thousand years ago. And then a few thousand years before that, you have this immensely sophisticated civilization in Africa that's building giant stone structures and perfect geometry. Like, what happened? What the fuck happened?
Yeah, it has to be. It has to
Makes
be.
sense.
I totally believe in that. This is what's the documentary called?
Graham Hancock's is
Well,
called
there's
Natural Catastrophes.
Yeah.
Ancient
Okay,
apocalypse.
Ancient Apocalypse.
Ancient Apocalypse.
I'm so terrible with the
He
names.
said natural
Catastrophes.
Catastrophe.
Ancient Apocalypse.
Ancient Apocalypse.
Ancient Apocalypse. And Graham's is I believe it's 7 pieces. 7. How many parts is it?
Hold on, actually.
It's at least 4. But it's all different.
I watched it.
It's amazing.
It's fucking great.
It's amazing. And this is what he's pointing out. And archaeologists are very hesitant to get on board with it because they've been lecturing this different narrative for so long, and they've been writing books, and they don't want to say they were wrong, but it looks like they were wrong. It looks like the idea of the start of civilization being around 6,000 years ago is a restart of civilization.
That
when
has
you-
to be.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because when they're finding these structures like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey and a lot of the ones they believe in Egypt.
Have you been to Egypt?
No, I haven't been there yet.
Dude,
I heard it's insane.
I climbed to the center of the Great Pyramid.
Yeah?
Fucking wild energy in there.
Oh, I can imagine.
Fucking vibrating. Like, ooh,
Really?
like it's fucking
Like you
weird.
feel it?
Yeah.
Or is it just like
no,
you're,
you feel it.
You're
You can
freaking
almost
out because
you
you're
can-
there?
No, you can almost hear it.
Really?
It's like this weird energy in there. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it doesn't put off like a bad vibe or anything. It just feels like electric in there. It's like, what is this? A fucking power station?
What is it?
I don't know. They say it's a tomb.
Yeah, but that's not real.
That can't be real.
I don't think that's real because
Why would they spend? They wouldn't spend that much fucking time and manpower.
I mean, maybe they would if the king was that much of a baller, but I just don't think that it makes sense. First of all, I don't believe they've ever found like a dead pharaoh inside of one of those things.
No.
I don't think there's any real indication that it's a tomb.
And they're like, oh,
it's
it
just
got
speculation.
robbed. It was robbed.
They definitely were. I mean, they robbed.
But why
the
would you
shit
take
out
a
of those.
body?
They definitely did.
I looked into that recently. Remember?
Yeah, we were. They
ate
eat them. They used to eat them. Yeah.
Up until like 100 years ago, they ate them.
Yeah, people would have ceremonies like rich people's houses, and they would unwrap mummies in front of their guests. Yeah, it was like an English thing, right?
Even up until
Sounds like an Illuminati thing.
until
does.
1909, they would give people ground skull for just like headaches and shit like that. Ground up skull. The ground up mummy was called
Mumia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mumia, yeah.
Jeez.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
bro. If there's one place that I could go see what the fuck was it like, it would be ancient Egypt. That would be the number one spot. I'd be like, I gotta see, what were you guys doing? Like, how'd you do this?
Well, then and
show
that
me how
makes
you move
wonder.
a rock.
Yeah. Well, I think there was water flowing through that area.
Well, there definitely was. The Nile River's there.
Well, the Nile, yeah, but I'm talking about right next to the pyramid. Like,
Why do you think that?
Because there's no fucking way. There's no way they moved that shit through sand.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they rolled them on logs. Motherfucker, that's sand. Those logs are just going to sink into the sand.
Well, it wasn't necessarily sand back then. See, this is the crazy thing about that area, is that where there's like the Sahara Desert used to be vast greenlands.
Yeah.
It used to be like a jungle, and it receded and became this what we see now, all the sand. And Egypt in the early days, like 9,000 BC, I believe, that it was a rainforest.
Yeah.
So like that same area where now it's just sand and dry, it was like torrential downpours all the time. That's one of the
Kind of like
ways.
Pangea, right? When we
Yes.
just had just one continent, it was just a tropical,
things.
a giant island.
That
right?
was a long ass time ago. Though.
Yeah.
this is not that long ago, but when they're talking about the dates of the pyramids, one of the first pieces of evidence that they discovered was there's a guy named Dr. Robert Schoch out of Boston University. He's a geologist, and he was examining the Temple of the Sphinx, and he was like, this is water erosion. It's like there's thousands of years of rainfall that's caused this erosion. And all the other archaeologists are like, there's no way, this is impossible, because the last time it rained in the Nile Valley was like 9,000 BC. Yeah, it's really nuts. So that means it was thousands of years of rainfall before that. So that means these things have to be 12,000, 15,000 years old, 20,000 years old.
20,
like,
it could
how
be,
old are
yeah,
those?
20. That's what the guide that was with me, he was like a local guy, that lived there, and we kind of just met him hanging out, and he's just like, hey, you want to fucking really learn about this thing? I was like, yes. So he started filling me in on all this. He took us all around the city, and he was like, listen, these things are so much older. They'll tell you these things are only like, a couple thousand years old. These things are like 15, 20,000 years old.
Wow.
He's like, and there was water. He said there was water that flew through here. And that's how they said they brought these rocks in by boat. They brought them in by boat, and then they would roll them up, and they would use elephants and all kinds of other shit to pull them up.
I would love to see what they did.
And when you see the size of these fucking stones, dude.
Yeah.
Granite and marble and fucking they used to have gold capped on the top, like,
and smooth limestone.
It's
the whole outside
it is
of the
perfectly
pyramid.
fucking smooth. Like
Before they fucked up the outside of it, because that was all looters.
Yeah.
That turned the outside all jagged. It used to be smooth.
Yeah. And then who knows what that fucking city is built? What's underneath that city?
Right. What was there before them?
If you don't believe that cities are built on top of cities, go to fucking Europe.
Right.
And look and see how every fucking city is built on another one.
Yep.
Where they came in and then fucking knocked their shit down and built right on top of it.
Yep. They find that in Mexico City too.
Yeah.
They're always digging around. They find like Aztec stuff and they have to stop. Yeah. Fuck, man.
And what was before that?
Right. What was before that? Like, when did they start? When did civilization actually start? Was it 30,000 years ago? Like, when
was
did
it
they get
100,000 years ago?
Well, they keep predating modern humans, too. They used to think, or they keep moving the date, rather. They used to think modern humans were like 50,000, 100,000 years old. Now they're getting close to like 1 million.
Yeah. That's fucking...
It's a lot of time to learn shit.
Think about the difference between 100,000 and 1 million.
Yeah. Well, think about the difference
how much
between the
evolution can
Viking
happen.
times and now.
Yeah.
Not that long.
Not that long.
Like that. Yeah.
Electricity changed a lot of shit, too. Once electricity and the internet...
Electricity, and then combustion engines, the internet, air travel, everything. It's like every time some new thing happens, everything moves much, much faster. And so who knows what the fuck they figured out back then. I think they had some completely different technology. That's what I think. I think it was wiped out when the comets hit. I think whatever.
And they got hammered by those fucking comets, man.
There's real evidence for it, too. Like real core sample evidence of the Earth. It shows that the Earth got hit during that period of time. So it's a very, very valid theory. But it's one that's like mainstream. They don't want to embrace it because they've been teaching in a different way for so long.
Well, think about like Atlantis, right? Mm-hmm. Like that was like the downfall of Atlantis, right? Was when those fucking comets hit. And then you have like real evidence, like Pompeii, where it's fucking like a volcano erupted and just wiped the whole civilization out.
Yep, froze people.
Froze them.
Have you gone there?
Yeah,
it's weird, right?
It's fucking creepy.
Can you imagine like being there, just chilling, having a good time in Pompeii, and then you see boom. Just a few miles away, like, oh, why are we here? Why did we build a city right here?
Right here by a volcano? There's a thing on Netflix about natural disasters now, and they're talking about a volcano, about like volcanoes and how people are living closer to volcanoes more and more, and that it's a fucking mistake. I think it's like a billion people or something
live near
volcanoes on the planet, and like all of them are active.
Well, how about Hawaii? I love the Big Island. But every time I go to the Big Island, last time I left, it was a volcano the next day. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude, I don't want anything to do with that shit. That shit freaks me out. They say the steam from that shit will just melt you. Just melt you.
There's a great video of Hawaii. This guy's got his Mustang parked on a street, and the lava just comes down the street and engulfs the Mustang and destroys it. It was like someone's security camera caught the footage.
Man, I bet that was cool looking.
It's just like,
the fuck
lets
out
you
of
know you're not supposed to stop there.
No, don't live here.
That's a bad spot. But if you can get away, here it is. Look at it. This guy's car is parked, and it just makes its way across the street. I mean, this is a residential neighborhood.
Well, if you think like this is how all Earth was made, right?
Yeah.
It's,
Look how
this
it
is
does
all
this.
ground.
Look how amazing that is. It just completely consumes that car. And that car doesn't exist anymore.
It just melts everything.
I mean, it just looks so out of place. When you see the sidewalk or the street, and then you see the mailbox, and you see this lava flow headed towards that car, you're like, what the fuck is happening? Look at that thing go.
Dude,
That's amazing.
just destroy anything.
And they live there. But beautiful place to live.
Yeah. I think we're going in like June, maybe end
yeah?
of May, early June. I'm going to take the kids and the wife over there.
Have you gone to Lanai?
No. I only went to Hawaii once, and that was to play.
Oh, it's a great place to hunt too.
Well, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I was going to do a little hunting, a little spearfishing, too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I haven't done spearfishing, but I heard that's awesome.
It's fucking creepy, dude. I hate sharks. I fucking hate them, dude. I feel so vulnerable in the water when there's sharks around.
You should. Yeah. It's
More than any other animal that I've been around, I've never felt so vulnerable.
Yeah, because at least on the ground, you're used to being on the ground.
Yeah.
Like you're in the water, that's their world.
Yeah. And I have no chance.
Yeah, it's not a good spot. Not a good spot to be. But Lanai is an amazing place to hunt. They have so many axis deer.
I love eating axis, too.
They're so delicious. And it's like there's an imperative to kill them because there's so many of them. Shark feeding frenzy caught off coast of Louisiana. What?
Dude, that's my worst
What?
nightmare right there.
Is that real? Yeah. Oh, my God. For people who are just listening, we're looking at like, what, 50 sharks? 100? More.
Well, we're going to see more and more sharks because people, there's like a lot of effort to save sharks now.
Yeah.
So people don't really kill sharks. So you're going to see more and more of them.
So the fishermen were surrounded by a shark feeding frenzy. What were they eating?
I mean, these guys were probably chumming, right?
Oh.
Probably chumming a little bit, and they got bait in the water. And
This is insane. Look how many fucking sharks there are. I've never seen anything like this.
you ever seen the videos of the great whites that get the dead whales?
Yeah.
There'll be like a dead whale floating, and these fucking
Yeah.
20-foot great whites come up and just fucking take a
Take
huge
chunks
chunk
out
out of
of
it,
them.
take
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 chunks out of it, and then they're like, all right, I'm good for a few hours.
Yeah.
Like, you just ate like fucking 1,000 pounds of meat.
Sharks they're so terrifying. That's why I don't surf. I'm like,
No.
you can keep that.
I don't want to look like a fucking seal.
People love it, though. They love it. They tell you about surfing. They said it's the greatest feeling of your life. You get up on that board. You're in touch with nature, and you're in the vibe of the ocean. And
Those big wave surfers, dude, those guys are fucking
yeah,
nuts.
Yeah, they got
100-foot wave.
they got real problems.
I would never. I mean, like, I've been rocked by a fucking 10, 12-foot wave, and washed in there like I was in a dryer.
Yeah,
No
they're-
thanks.
They're wired different for sure. My buddy Shane Dorian does that shit. I watch videos of him doing it online. He's like a normal dude. You hang out with him, and he's like real chill and mellow and real friendly. And then you watch him on the surfboard. You're like, how the fuck? Look how big that wave is. Like, if
Dude.
that comes down on you,
You look
you're
like a little
dead.
speck. It looks like a building.
Yeah.
It looks like you're on there's a building falling over.
I think part of it, what people like, is like being humbled by nature. Just the overwhelming sensation of the power of nature.
Well, I've been like that's how I feel when I'm out like elk hunting, when I'm like really backcountry, like way out there, like 12 miles deep, fucking
Yeah.
you're standing up on a ridge and you just look out and it's like, oh fuck, like
Yeah.
I could die out here.
It's real.
I could really fucking die out
Yeah.
here. If I don't find some fresh water, I'm fucked.
It's the real wild. Yeah, I love it. When did you said you started hunting as a kid?
Yeah, I killed my first whitetail with a bow when I was just about 13. So that's when and my stepdad he'd like to hunt too every now and then, he was into it, but he would just take me in the woods once a year and fucking sit me under a tree and don't fucking move. All right. And I'd sit there and freeze. And he'd go, but I got, just sitting there, you'd see fucking deer come close. And to me, it was really cool to see how close I could get to the deer.
Yeah.
I didn't really like enjoy shooting them with a gun. So I just once I got a bow in my hand, I was like, oh, a full-blown addict, like right away.
It's such a different experience, isn't it?
Yeah. There's something primal about it.
Yeah, it taps into some strange area of your brain, and because it's silent too, like it's like such a because you're sneaking up, you have to be quiet. There's no boom.
Yeah.
The boom is like Cam Haynes has always said that the boom of the gun just always felt out of place to him.
Yeah.
Like you're in the wilderness, everything's peaceful and beautiful and natural and primal, and then boom.
And I have nothing against rifle hunters, man. Like, there's a need for all that shit, but dude, the bow hunting, the snap of the bow, like that, and then the whack of and the pop of the lungs popping.
Also the skill involved in archery. is
You
so
have to
different.
practice so much.
You have to practice so much. It has to be a part of you. You have to just like in your mind. You have to be able to just like.
Yeah, you anchor that. I use a
Yeah.
nose button, so when I anchor that nose button, it's like everything is, like that mountain lion hunt, dude. That was one of the most physically demanding things I've ever done.
Really?
It
So how
fucked
did this
me
come
up.
about? This is a mountain lion that was killing people's dogs?
Yeah. Well, no, that's the thing. It's not. There was in that area. Dogs get fucking killed by mountain lions all the time in Colorado in general. Like it happens
Yeah.
all the time. Like up in Boulder, they took a lion from Boulder and moved it out to like Nederland. You lived up in Boulder, so you know what I'm talking about, like that Nederland area.
My dog got killed by a mountain lion. in
Right.
Boulder.
Oh yeah, I heard this story.
Yeah.
So they moved this lion instead of like killing the lion, which is what they should have done. Because once it's used to eating that kind of food, it's not going back to chasing deer and shit. You know, it's gonna go take the easy meal and kill the little dogs.
Right, of course.
Well, they took that lion and moved it out to Nederland. It killed 15 dogs in 30 days.
Jeez.
And then they had to kill it. So you have to manage that population. But what happened was Alex is out. He's actually sitting out there right now. Alex called me and was like, hey, we got a fresh snow. You want to come up and, drive up here and hunt a lion? I said, yeah, let's go. So I grabbed my bow and drove up there, 4 in the morning. And we just started driving around trying to cut tracks with the hounds.
Wow.
So we're driving, just find a couple smaller tracks. And then we find this big track coming across the road. And we're like, oh, that's a big fucking lion. So we get out and check it out, and he had a fucking mule deer. He just killed this mule deer. Like it was like steaming still under the tree. He had ripped it. You could see its guts all hanging out because it was eating it and shit. Dude, these fucking things are crazy.
Yeah.
This giant mule deer, 4x4, full grown under this tree. And then we look and we see it going back and forth from this porch. So it's going from this guy's porch to this kill, going back and forth. And that's where it was denned up, was under that fucking porch. We didn't see it under there,
God.
but you can see that that's where he was sleeping. Like that's where he was fucking hanging out because it was easy killing for him. He had dogs and fucking deer and literally whatever he wanted. Because there's a lot of public hiking trails that go right up through there. So, and this is like a dude ranch, right? So, and we knocked on the door and the guy didn't answer. So we were like, fuck. So we called a bunch of different landowners around the area and neighbors and shit. And then we started hearing stories about, oh yeah, last year this lion killed a dog. And he's been, there's one that's harassing my dogs now, this woman said. She's like, I won't come out of my house at night. She's like, because there's like 3 or 4 of them running around here. And there's like sheep herds and deer herds and elk herds all through there. So it's like prime lion country. They have all the food they could want. But when you have one big alpha, he literally like hoards all the food. And kills kittens. He'll kill kittens to like make sure he gets the food. So killing a big tom is what you want. That's what you want to go after. Big, full, mature tom. Because it's good for the lion population, it's good for the deer population, it's good for just conservation in general. And in this case, it was good for the neighbors because he was living. Imagine a 220-pound, 8.5-foot lion.
Was it that big?
Yeah.
That's what you waited at?
It was gutted. I had it gutted and cleaned, and it was 173. Cape and meat was 173. So I'm guessing with all his blood and meat in him and guts, he was probably 220.
That's as big as they get,
Yeah.
right? That sounds so big.
And if you pull the picture,
Look at the size of that picture. Holy shit. That cat is so big.
look at his fucking paws, dude. That's the first thing that I looked at was his paws and his head. I mean, dude, it's 11 inches from thumb on my hand. It's 11 inches from pinky to thumb. So when I put my hand up there and that thing fucking just like, it engulfed my hand.
Wow. That thing's so
He could fucking
huge.
He could kill you and drag you by your fucking neck out of there, no problem.
Right up a tree. Whoop.
Right up a fucking tree. You'd be.
Wow.
Look how big his head is.
That's the biggest cat I've ever seen. I saw a big one in Utah a year ago. It was pretty big. It was under a tree. And we were about 30 yards away in a truck. And my buddy Colton, who I was with, he spotted it. We hit the brakes, and you see these glowing eyes under this tree because it was like getting dusk out. And I had my binoculars on, so I'm like zooming in on it. It's big old fucking pumpkin head, but it wasn't that big. The one I saw looked like 180.
It's huge.
Huge,
regardless.
enormous.
Because the average, that's what the CPW told me. The average is like 140 to 160 is like that's what we normally see.
And then
for
you
a
get
big
ones
mature
like that.
tom, and then you get one like that that's in his prime, like in his fucking prime,
Eating dogs.
eating fucking dog. It's only a matter of time before he eats a fucking person. Like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So fast forward to us trying to get a hold of this guy that owns this land, right? because there's a truck in the driveway, but like nobody. I didn't want to go up there and bang on his door at 6 in the morning. You know,
Of
like
course.
fucking pow pow pow. You know, people that live back out there, they don't want to be fucking bothered.
Right.
You know, so so finally 2 hours go by of us calling people and hearing stories, this and that, and finally we get this guy's fucking standing outside now. So we're like, fuck yeah, now we could drive down, we'd keep driving to see if that, because there's private and then there's public, so we didn't want to go on this private land without permission, because it's just the way you
Right.
fucking do things, right? Don't be a dick. And so finally he's out there standing, like kind of waving at us. He's like, you guys see these fucking tracks around here? Like, because they went up onto his porch, the tracks go up under his porch, onto his porch, and then across his backyard and up into the fucking mountains, like straight up a cliff. So we're like, fuck. And he was like, you guys lion hunting? And we're like, yeah. He's like, can you guys go get this one? And we're like, fuck yeah. We tried to get a hold of you for 2 hours. He's like, oh, was that you guys on the porch? He's like, I thought that was the lion. He thought he's like, that motherfucker. He's like, there's a big fucking lion that keeps looking in my fucking windows at night.
Oh my god.
Because I have little dogs and cats in there.
Oh my god.
So this lion is like hunting him and his fucking animals, right? Like, and then this woman, the woman next door that we talked to, she's like, yeah, she's like, at night I'll look out my window and there'll be a lion just staring into my fucking house. A fucking lion. We're not talking about a fucking kitty cat. Like a meow cat, right? He's not fucking purring. He's trying to kill you and eat you.
And he's huge.
And they kill indiscriminately.
Yeah.
They'll just kill just to kill because they're cats and they're fucked up.
Yeah.
Cats are fucking weird and crazy. That's why they torture fucking mice and don't eat them. They just
Yeah.
torture them to death.
Yeah.
They're fucked up, man.
It's a fucked up animal. I'm
So-
sure mountain lions probably don't do that because they have to survive a little bit more than regular cats do. But
Well, wolves kill indiscriminately too.
yeah, they did. Well,
They just do it to practice.
Yeah, they surplus kill.
Yeah. And bury it. Well, lions will kill and bury their shit too.
Yeah.
Just like bears do. Predators just do that shit, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like in their DNA to store food and instinctually to save it.
Yeah.
So they have something to eat later in case it gets cold or something. Like they can't find anything.
So this guy, you get a hold of him. He gives you permission, and then how does it go about?
So we fucking get out of the truck. You know, I got gaiters on, fucking coat. It just snowed, so it's like 2 feet of snow on the ground. So and we're at 8,000 feet, and it goes up to 11,000, and then so it's like 8 to 11,000 in vertical feet where we're hanging out at. So we get the dogs on the tracks, and they go straight up the fucking hill. First, they go under the porch and sniff around because they're like, this is where the scent's the strongest. They just went straight to the under the porch. So you know he was sleeping under there every night, fucking denned up. Like that scares the fuck out of me. And then the dogs get on that track and they're fucking, you know, they just take off. And we use GPS, but you have to stay with them because if they get those lions in a cave, the lion will kill every dog that you got. They'll just kill them all. So you got to fucking try to stay with the dogs. And Alex is like, all right, and he's like a fucking mountain goat, right? He's just fucking straight up the mountain, right? I'm slipping and sliding the whole way up. So I just said, fucking, I'm gonna crawl. So I got my bow in one hand, packing the fucking leashes and some water in my other and on my back, and I'm just crawling. Just crawl straight up this fucking mountain. And we get up there and I'm thinking, hopefully, please have him treed up here. Nope. They were fucking 2 miles that way already. It took me like an hour and a half to get up that hill. And I just slid down the other side, fucking straight down into this drainage where they went and crawled up through this drainage because the snow was like fucking up to my chest, it felt like. Could barely walk through it. And then I go, Alex is calling me because he's way ahead of me now. He calls me and goes, hey, where the fuck are you at? And I was like, dude, I'm fucking so far behind you. Like, I can't even, I'm moving so slow through this shit. And he was like, well, hurry up, we got him. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, I can't even hear the hounds. I can't hear them.
So how far away is he?
Like 2 miles, mile and a half.
Oh my god.
But it's like, but to get to him, I had to go up, straight back up to 11,000 feet, follow his tracks, and then drop down on him.
Oh, wow.
Well, here's where I fucked up. He sent me like the pin. He sent me the pin where he was, and I was like, all right, I'm coming straight to you. He's like, come straight to the pin. I said, okay. Instead of following his tracks like I should have, I went straight to the fucking pin. So I'm like side hilling, and I'm telling you, this shit's straight up and down. It's rocky and slippery. You can't fucking post hole into it. You're just sliding and falling the whole way. Like my fucking pants are all ripped up. I'm cramping my hamstrings, quads, my rib cage, my forearms and shit. I'm cramping bad. So I got to the point where I couldn't even fucking walk without just locking up. So I just crawled and I dropped down. I'm on the fucking road and I'm like, I call him. He's like, where the fuck are you at? We're going to lose this lion. And I was like, I'm on the road now. And he was like, oh no. He's like, you got to climb back up. I was like, fuck. I was like, all right, I'll be there. And he was like, "You're never making it up here." I said, "Watch me, motherfucker." And so I did. I fucking crawled all the way up through there. And the shit I was climbing and crawling, it was sketchy, man. If I fell and rolled down through that shit, it was gonna kill me probably. Like I'd be fucked up, break a leg. A lot of shit can happen to you up there. So I just kept crawling and it was only 900 yards that I had to go. So it was like probably 800 feet vertically that I had to go. But it was like 2 feet of snow, slippery as hell, with a bow, fucking crawling and cramping. So I get to him and I'm laying there under the tree at one point and I look up and there's the lion right above me. And he's sitting there looking at me and his fucking teeth are out and he's like, like doing that shit.
Holy shit.
And he's only like 20 feet from me. And I'm just like, I'm so exhausted that I'm like, I'm dead if he fucking falls on me. So I have like a knife right here on my packs just in case, just in case that fucker falls out of the tree. Because that branch could snap at any time. He's on a shitty fucking branch like this. I was like, this don't look fucking, this is sketchy. He said, Alex goes, "Hurry up, bud. You got to get up here." And I was like, "I'm coming, motherfucker." And there's a video of me on my Instagram. You can see me fucking like, I get up and he's taking a video of me. I look like Rob Zombie. I'm fucking dead. My face is pale white. My dreads are all fucking hanging out. And he's like, and I just shake my head at him and stand up there. And that's where that fucking training comes in with the bow. Because I do this fucking crazy high intensity training in my basement, and then I pull my bow out when my heart rate's at like 160, 170, and fucking just shooting dimes.
Really?
So I
you
get up.
practice doing it that way.
I practiced doing it that way, but I'd never. The one thing I never practiced was shooting at that angle. Right. So I was like, this is gonna be a little different. I'm gonna have to cam you're on all this shit. You have to do all this shit to make a good shot because I'm shooting him in the chest.
Right.
So I'm like, he's facing me, and dude, the look on this fucking lion's eyes. He's like staring through my soul, this fucker. And I was like, dude, it's over for you, bud. Fucking days are numbered. I fucking sent one right through his chest, man. It was a perfect shot. To me, at one point I was like down below and I said, "Can I shoot him from here?" And he was like, "Fuck no, he's going to land on you." And I was like, oh, that would be fucking
That'd be a problem.
kind of intense. I said, okay, I guess I'll make it up there. It's only like 40 yards, but 40 yards might as well be a fucking half a mile in that kind of, when you're in that, like, dude, I shot that, when I released that arrow, I just fucking fell, like just sat down. I just was like, fuck, I said, now we got to get him out. Now I got to get this fucking thing out of here.
Right.
So he died quick, right? He didn't run anywhere. He just was basically under the tree where I shot him, laying there. And we walked up to him, and well, I said walked up. I crawled backwards down the hill to him, and I was like, "Holy fucking! I can't believe how big this thing is." And Alex is like, "You got to pick him up, man. Pick him up so we could show how big he is. So people got to see how big this thing is." And I was like, "All right." So I fucking grabbed him around the stomach and fucking right, like I'm like, this motherfucker's 200 pounds. He definitely 200 pounds. Like I could, I know what the fuck 200 pounds feels like. I'm tackling 220-pound running backs and 250-pound running backs all the time. Like I know what that fucking weight feels like, and that's what this felt like. Felt like I had fucking Derrick Henry lifting that motherfucker up,
Wow.
So I grabbed the lion, lift him up, and he's like, flop his head over, and I flopped his head over, and I look at Alex's eyes, and I seen his eyes light up, and he was like, dude, and he's been doing this shit for his whole life, For like 30 years, he's been seeing mountain lions. He's like, this is the biggest lion I've ever seen, I think. And I was like, fuck.
Show me a picture of that thing again.
I sent you the fucking
the video,
right? I didn't want to put that out to the public because they fucking get sensitive. But
well, they must have got sensitive about this too. But you ate them.
Oh yeah,
that's what people don't know. Mountain
I was
lion
gonna
is
bring some, dude.
delicious.
But I was gonna bring you some, but like I don't know, traveling with meat and shit,
Highly illegal. Yeah, traveling with mountain lion meat.
You can't. I was like, I don't know about that. I don't think we should be doing that.
What did it taste like?
It tastes like white meat pork, but sweeter.
Really?
Yeah.
Steve Ranella says it tastes amazing.
It's fucking delicious. I made some chorizo breakfast sausage with it.
Wow.
Dude.
Plus, you're eating the mountain lion.
Yeah.
There's something going on there, too.
It's fucking something about that, right? I did my first bear. Dude, my first year out of retirement, I got to hunt so much. In 10 days in September, with my bow, I went to New Mexico, killed my first elk. That was 5 days, 60 miles on my feet. Just got after it. Awesome tent camping, And then I went up to Wyoming, killed my first mule deer. I drove straight home, had a retirement party, and then got honored at that retirement party in the game and jumped in the truck and went straight to Wyoming because I drew my general deer tag. And I fucking 50-yard shot on a double drop tine fucking mule deer that we spot and stalked. We just fucking got lucky. You know, we're just out there dicking around a field pretty much and got lucky.
Out of all the things that you can do that'll juice you up outside of competitive sports, I got to imagine bow hunting is right at the top of that list.
Dude, that elk, nothing. I mean, I've sacked quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, sacked Tom Brady in the AFC Championship, and the whole fucking crowd howls when you stand up. I mean, it was in the New York Times front page, me standing over Tom fucking screaming, fucking howling over him, you know? Like that, but that feeling, it never made me want to cry. And it never made me feel like I was like, you know, I think it's because the turnaround to the next play is so fast, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, now, next play, you know?
Right.
But like, when you have time to like, when I shot that elk, because like growing up back east, poor, coming on an elk hunt was just like, fuck, I didn't even fly on a plane until I was a freshman in college. Like I didn't know how I was going to get out there and do any of that kind of hunt. And it just always a dream that I was always dreamed about. So when I put my hands on that elk, man, like nothing compares to that. Like nothing that I've done in my life, like physically done, compares to that.
That's incredible. Yeah.
I'm hooked on it. And then I went, so right after I shot that mule deer up there, I went straight down to fucking Sawash, Colorado and shot this 400-pound giant fork buck. Giant. Wow. He had like a 200-inch frame.
Wow.
But he only had forks, and his fucking bases were, I couldn't even get my hands around him. And he weighed 400 pounds.
400-pound mule deer.
The processor that I took him to thought it was a fucking cow elk.
Wow.
He was like, "This is a mule deer?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Holy shit." You know, he's like, "This might be a state record." And I was like, I don't care about records and shit like that, but,
you know. Bow hunting I mean, you could say it's primal, but you are using a compound bow with cams, and you have a sight that's geared up exactly for the range of your arrows. But there's something about it it taps into this ancient DNA.
Yeah.
It does something where when people would hunt back in the day, that's how they stayed alive.
Right.
And there's a thrill, there's like a human reward involved in collecting wild game that's not like anything else.
Yeah, and I think eventually I'll get into that stick bow hunting a little more, but I'm not going to just fucking grab a stick bow and go out in the woods and be a dummy and shoot, just wound animals.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
like I want to be fucking
harder.
dialed in on that shit.
Yeah.
And I like my compound because I could fucking shoot them at, 90 yards if I have to.
It's more effective in terms of like the penetration. There's so much more kinetic force to
Right.
it. You could kill them much easier.
Well, I have a 33-inch draw. I'm pulling 80 pounds. I could send a fucking butter knife through it,
Yeah.
And it's going to penetrate.
Do you use fixed heads or mechanicals?
Both.
Yeah.
It depends on what I'm hunting.
Right.
So, like, I like using these Sever broadheads.
Those are great.
I love them.
Yeah.
But, and I like them mostly because I could practice with them. Mm-hmm. That's why I usually don't like those mechanicals, is because I can't practice with what I'm going to actually be hunting with.
Right.
Because you fuck them up when you do that. Mm-hmm. Shooting them into targets and shit. But these things, you can just, like, consistently shoot that thing and it's perfect.
Yeah, they have it set up where there's a little screw. You can tighten it down.
Tighten it down.
It doesn't, the blades don't extend. Yeah, those are really effective too because they move around bone.
Right.
Because of the pivot system that they've developed.
It teeters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only two that come out, right? They start up top and they come out like this and they're fucking kind of long, right? Mm-hmm. And it teeters like this. And to me, that's fucking genius.
Yeah, it's genius. Yeah. Those are some of my favorite mechanicals. But
because when you slip it in right behind that shoulder, sometimes you'll catch the shoulder or a rib or something, and instead of it like stopping it, it just kind of slides by it and, does this, maximum damage when it gets in there. And ultimately, like that elk, I shot him at 42 yards right behind the shoulder, and he was only like 80 yards on the other side of the hill. And he didn't have like this violent, miserable death. He died quick,
Yeah, that's the only time they've died like that. Every other time they die like that, it's from wolves and cats.
Yeah, because they get eaten asshole first.
Or they freeze to death.
Or they freeze, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Have you seen these videos of like coyotes freezing out in a field? Mm-hmm. Fucking mid-walk.
Frozen mid-walk.
Imagine you're walking and you're just like,
that's it.
Fucking dead now.
This is the end. Yeah.
Standing.
How about those people that died in Buffalo? They froze to death in their cars.
Oh, man, that would be fucking...
Fuck.
That would be hell. Is this my water?
Yeah. This
is a nice cup.
Little thing of that. Yeah, we're trying to not use plastic for whatever reason. Save the seagulls.
Yeah, saving the turtles and the fucking... Meanwhile, there's a giant island of fucking plastic just floating around the ocean.
Yeah. The size of Texas.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. They're trying to trim that down.
What are they doing with it though?
They're turning it into taking the plastic and recycling it, making sunglasses and shit out of it, and selling it.
So more plastic shit.
Yeah, I mean,
well, the chemicals you have to use to break plastic down is not good.
yeah, can't be good. I think they're developing bacteria that eat plastic, but boy, who knows where that goes?
What happens with that bacteria?
Yeah,
then?
what happens when it runs out of
super,
plastic?
Yeah, it's super fucking bacteria that's just
Evolves to eat air. Yeah, yeah. The more problems we fix, the more problems we cause.
yeah.
But that's a big one. The plastic patch. It's pretty fucked. So your how did you get this lying down? So if you're talking about this like insane journey to get to the top of this mountain,
we gutted it. So it was at 9,700 feet where we shot him. That's what the GPS said. So we gutted the mountain lion and laid it across the back. I have one of those Kafaru packs, that Striker XL, and it has like a meat tray back there, and it's perfect. It's like when I load up an elk, I'm putting 150 pounds in there, and packing it out. But I put this line in there and laid it across sideways because I didn't want to fuck it up,
Right.
Like I was like, this is fucking beautiful fucking animal. I want to like really do a full body mount on this, and
right.
I don't want to fuck up any of the meat and get it all bruised up, trying to drag it down a hill. And so I put it in that fucking pack and laid it across sideways, and it was like touching the fucking ground. I sent you that video of me fucking turning around, and you can see it just laying in that pack. Well, once I got over those trees, I got on my hands and knees and crawled backwards down that motherfucker because I couldn't do. My legs were seriously just like every step was like cramp, like my hamstrings were bad. It was bad. I was fucking miserable, but I was felt accomplished at this point. And
Your
now,
buddy Alex must be in fucking insane shape.
dude, this guy is a fucking mountain goat. He was
Guys who are on those mountains every day.
he was like, you're supposed to be a fucking professional football player. He's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, dude, fuck you. Fuck it. And I train my ass off. I train every day. And it's not like weightlifting training. I'm training like high intensity fucking workouts, like getting my heart rate going. And this fucking hammered me, dude. I was fucked up for then I had to go straight to work after that. But anyways, I crawled backwards down this fucking mountain. And finally I get down there and Alex is dying. He's dying laughing at me. He's like, I've never in my fucking life seen somebody crawl backwards down a fucking mountain like this. It's like, think about it, on my hands and knees, crawling like so
backwards.
Slow too, because it was miserable. And I got held up there because there was like this. There was this part where on the way up, I remembered I had to go across this rock outcropping because there was like a 10-foot drop. So I like had to go across this. I had to like walk across it, and I remember it sucking. I was like, this is gonna suck with a lion on my back. And I took one step on that rock, and my feet came out from under me, and I fell fucking 10 feet. Bow.
Oh Jesus! With
Landed,
the lion?
Yeah, and landed straight on my butt. But it was like fucking snow. It didn't hurt. I was like, how the fuck am I just okay now? Like how? Like I did. You know how? I don't know if you ever had like an accident out there where you slip and fall, and you're like, well, this is it.
Yeah.
I was like, I could be impaled. Like a fucking stick could impale me up my ass or something. Like that's what I was thinking about. It was like getting impaled. I was like, I don't want a stick going up my ass, So I landed and I was fine. But the fucking lion had like shifted all out of the pack and shit. So I had to fucking take my pack off on a fucking hill like this and repack him in there and then somehow get him back on and fucking strapped in and rolled back over onto my fucking onto my stomach and fucking pushed up and fucking got on my hands and knees and kept going. And that took fucking like 30 minutes to get that lion back in there.
Wow.
But I get down and I stand up and I put that fucker on the back of the truck and I'm like, all right, finally, I'm fucking here. It took this is like a 6-hour ordeal. And I do a radio show in Denver, a sports radio show for the afternoon drive. So it's from like 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. I do that Monday through Friday. And we're talking about football and basketball and all kinds of other bullshit. And it's great because I don't have to be right about anything. I just get the bullshit,
Like this.
Yeah. So I show up fucking 2 hours late. I sent a picture of them of me on the mountain with it in my pack. I said, current situation, boys, I'm going to be a little late. And they're like, fuck, what the fuck? They're like, who the fuck? Like, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, I'll tell you guys when I get there. Dude, I walk into the studio still wearing my boots and my gaiters and my pants and I'm wearing the shit I was out there hunting. And I smelled like a stinky ass fucking lion and get in there and they're like, what the fuck is going on with you? What happened? and I told the story right away.
Wow.
On air. So like people that were listening got to hear it like right away. And
Oh shit.
They're like, this dude shows up to work 2 hours late and just fucking tells like an unbelievable story. And I guess our viewership and listeners were like the highest it's ever been that
Wow.
day. Because people were like, oh, we got to hear this story. We got to get in, you know?
Wow.
But it's funny how the legend turned into me fucking like the legend of this lion that was eating fucking dogs and cats
Yeah.
and shit. I don't know if it was that lion. I didn't check this shit in his stomach if it was that lion. And
Right.
CPW didn't have any reports of it either, but the stories that the neighbors had given us is like, yeah, there's some lions around here that are causing problems.
That lion seems like it ate whatever the fuck it wanted.
Whatever it wanted, dude.
And if that was the
thing-
one living under that guy's porch, it was in proximity to people. It makes sense that was its hunting grounds.
And that guy was just little. He was just a little guy. You know, he was a shorter guy. I was like, this fucking lion could eat him.
Easy.
For sure. Easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it could kill me and fucking eat me.
There's a bunch of people that went missing in the Hollywood Hills over the years they think were because of lions.
Guarantee it.
Yeah.
They're sneaky
Guaranteed
fucking
kids.
cats. I don't trust cats, man.
Fuck cats.
Well, right down the road from where I'd shot this lion, a fucking kid was jumping on his trampoline. 8-year-old lion came and took him right off of it. And he survived.
Oh my God.
He somehow survived. I guess the parents fucking, you know, I don't know the whole story, so I don't just make shit up, but somebody must have saved him.
Imagine watching your kid get grabbed by a cat.
No.
The feeling that would have.
And they're fucking everywhere. Though, like California, that's fucked up. They're just hanging out in your backyard in a residential area, you know?
Bro, they're so goofy. They're so goofy. Like their approach to these things is so strange.
Their approach to all conservation is it comes from an emotional viewpoint instead of a scientific and rational.
Yeah, an emotional, uninformed viewpoint.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing in Vancouver. Like when they outlawed the grizzly hunt in BC, people are like, yeah, no more grizzly hunting. And the people that live in rural BC are like, are you fucking crazy? Do you know how many of them there are up there? Do you know how scary they are? Like, it didn't make any sense. They just decided because of the high population places that don't deal with these bears, like Vancouver, they were the ones who voted. This is the most people. And they're like, yeah, no more grizzly hunt.
Well, it's like in Colorado, they just reintroduced the wolves.
I know.
And look what the wolves. Look at what the wolf reintroduction into Yellowstone was great for like the natural balance of things, right? But hunters could have handled that.
Yeah.
You just give out more elk tags.
I love wolves. I love the idea that wolves are out there, but you can't not manage their population, or it gets wild.
It gets real wild, and they'll send an elk herd into like a 30-year decline. Like they'll take an elk herd from 30,000 to 2,000 in just like a decade.
The other thing too is like people are reluctant to give away wolf tags. They're like, we don't want them hunting wolves. Like,
why?
This is the thing. They don't understand how hard it is.
No,
like
I'm going to Canada in November to do it.
Well, in Canada, they have a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. I've been up in Alberta, and my friends sent me some trail cam pictures of wolves. They have a shitload of wolves up there. But
Who was it that sent that to you?
John and Jen Rivet.
Yeah,
Do you know
that's
the
where I'm
Rivets?
going.
Oh, yeah. They're great
Yeah,
people.
awesome people.
Great people. Yeah, they got a lot of wolves up there.
Yeah, he sent me some, like, we probably saw the same pictures. of the
Probably.
wolves.
Yeah.
He said it's like for a couple miles from his house.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's fucking sketchy.
Yeah, they're sketchy as fuck, man. And, they have an understanding of them up there. Like, wolf tags are easy to get up there. And
Yeah.
they want you to hunt wolves.
Yeah.
Like, when you'd get a bear tag, you buy a wolf tag, too, right next to it.
Yeah.
They want you to hunt wolves. Like, it's not easy to get one, though.
No,
Like,
fuck
they're
no.
so smart, and their fucking nose is so intense.
Oh, I mean, coyote hunting. If you've probably coyote hunted before, haven't you?
Not really.
Well, coyotes are
I coyote
fucking
hunted in my
smart.
backyard in California. I had some coyotes that killed my chickens. I almost got this motherfucker too, but my daughter, she was like 5 at the time. She was like, "Coyote, coyote!" I was like, "Shh, Daddy's trying to kill him."
I'm trying to kill him.
Yeah, they killed a shitload of my chickens.
Fuck those coyotes, man. Those fuckers.
They're little wolves.
Yeah,
they're little wolves. That's what they
so
are.
imagine like the real apex.
Yeah,
Like wolves are like apex fucking predators, man.
yeah.
And the way that, like, if you watch those National Geographic documentaries on them hunting elk herds and how they fucking separate one of them and they fucking stay on them for just
Yeah.
miles and miles and miles until they wear it out and they just fucking eat it alive.
Yeah, and they nip at their legs and take their hamstrings out.
Yeah. That's like somebody slicing your fucking Achilles tendon and watching you crawl
Yeah.
and eating your asshole first.
And they're so smart. Like, the way they do it is so interesting because there's some kind of communication. Like, different wolves know their jobs. They'll chase them into a pack of other ones that are waiting. They'll bottleneck them.
They're so smart. I was watching the one they lost an elk, right? They didn't get it, and the other wolves were like throwing shade at the wolf that like took him off the trail.
Ooh.
They were like
Really?
throwing shade at him,
Like
they were
snapping at
fucking
him?
snipping at him and fucking looking at him weird. Like
Whoa.
he like had to hang in the back of the pack for like a little bit. Like it was fucking wild, man.
Yeah, they're so social. That's
Well,
the
think
difference
about when they
with
have an
cats,
alpha, they'll
right?
kill. They try to kill like the other ones that are trying to be the alpha. They'll just all attack him at the same time, and he has to fight them all off. Think about that shit.
And you're all living together, sleeping in the woods
Yeah.
together,
Like
fighting over bitches. Literally, bitches. That's what they are.
I know.
Out there in the snow.
It's wild to think about. Like,
I'm glad they're out there, though.
yeah,
I really am. Like, I don't like the idea of eradicating wolves, but I just wish that they would have a real understanding of
Managing
the
them.
Yeah, there's a necessity to it, and these animal groups, animal rights groups, they don't think that way at all, and I get their perspective too. They just want these animals to thrive, and they want us to leave them alone, and they want them to exist peacefully. Like California's model seems to ultimately be the eradication of hunting eventually, and just
Yeah.
have animals work it out amongst themselves,
yeah.
which is, it's
I hate that idea.
it's a weird idea because in some ways it's been effective with deer. Like if you think about it, the deer population in California, like all around Los Angeles, is so low. Like I used to live in the valley, which is like 30 minutes outside of LA, and there was occasionally you'd see a couple of deer here or there, but it's because there's cats everywhere.
Yeah, they'll
So-
kill one a week,
Yeah.
1 or 2 a week.
Yeah, so their populations are pretty fucking low. Whereas out here in Texas, a mountain lion is basically a coyote. You just fucking shoot them.
Yeah.
Like there's no restrictions. They're thought of as like varmints.
Yeah.
So if you see a mountain lion in your yard, you just blow them away. So there's deer everywhere out here. Like it's a totally different experience. Like everywhere I go, there's deer, and I'm like, oh, this is what California would be like if they managed their lions.
There would be deer everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like prime deer country. That's where deer want to live. Is that kind of shit, you know?
Yeah,
But-
so the
Well, in
cats,
Colorado, I mean, I know that the mountain lion is like the only big cat on the planet that's thriving. Right? They're all doing pretty good, but the mountain lions are like they're fucking thriving
Yeah.
in especially North America. So, and that is in part. It's not just because of what California does, but like in Colorado, every unit has a quota on how many lions based on all their scientific numbers that they fucking pull out. And I mean, these guys are in the field. These CPW guys are out in the field giving information and lion numbers. They have collared lions. They keep them. They have game trail cameras that they watch them on. So they know everything they need to know about them. So they know what kind of numbers that they have and how many need to be taken out to keep everything balanced in the area. So humans and animals can all live together in the area, right? Like shit's going to happen. That's just the way it goes. Like somebody's going to get attacked sometimes by a lion. Like that's what happens when you live up there.
Yeah.
Right. But you should still be allowed to hunt them. So you have to take an exam. You take an exam to get the license. They make you take an exam online to even get the license. So you learn everything you can about lions, about their gender, and how do you identify a male lion, and does this spot? It's like a little black spot that you can see that shows that it's a male. You know,
Where's the spot?
on the back here, like
On their legs?
no, it's like on
Where the dick
in their
is?
gooch, yeah, like the gooch area. Yeah. It's a spot that like that's the identifier. Like that's a fucking he's got a dick, you know.
Right.
And so I didn't know that though going into it. So I learned something, you know, just do it, just taking this exam. And then you buy your license, and then you have to, as soon as you kill the lion, you have to check that fucker in right away, or else they'll fucking ding you. And you don't want to get dinged by the CPW because they'll fucking stick like a 5-year ban on your license, you know. So they'll find any reason to get you. Then the meat has to be processed for human consumption. They come and they take you have to. When I say check it in, it's not just call them. They got to come and look at the lion. They came and weighed the cape and meat, and that's what was 173. That's where I got that number. I didn't fucking care about weighing it, you know. But you have to take the meat and make it ready for human consumption. You can't like discard any of it. It has to all be used, which is wild because up in Wyoming they don't give a shit. They're just like, if you kill a bear, they don't care.
Yeah, that's a lot of the places that hunt bears are like that. Did you know that in the early days the pioneers preferred bear, and they used bear for meat and deer were just for hides?
Well, they use their fat. They used to use the fat for everything too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Have you had bear?
Yeah.
You like it?
It's good.
I think it's pretty good. It's
The
not as good as
rivets-
lion though.
The rivets will cook. I haven't had lion, but the rivets will cook it for you. Like let
Yeah.
Jen Jen's a master chef.
Okay.
She's good. I guess you're not supposed to call them a chef unless they run a kitchen. We found that out recently.
Really?
Yeah. A chef is like the person who runs the kitchen. A cook is
The
other
actual one
person.
cooking it.
But she's fantastic at it. She when we were up there, she cooked a roast, and it was a bear roast, and she slow cooked it in the Traeger for like 16 hours. It was insane. It was so good.
The Traeger. I mean, you could put a turd on that fucking Traeger and it'll taste good. I
Yeah,
use
but
that Traeger for everything.
They're great. It's so convenient too. It's so easy to do. You do it on your
Dump
phone.
some pellets and fucking turn it on with
I
your
love
phone.
it.
Easy.
You know what I started doing out here though? I started using an offset smoker.
What's that?
You know, like those old school Texas, like Terry Black style smokers.
Like where you start the
we
fire
get
yourself.
The fire
and
over
everything?
here with logs, and then the smoke filters into the main chamber, and you cook your meat in that. Oh my God, it's insane.
Is it even better? Does it
It's
make it
so
even better?
good. It's so smoky. It's like it impart real hardwood. Look, Traeger's amazing because it is real hardwood, but it's pellets and it's super convenient. And you can. There's a setting called Super Smoke. I don't know if you ever
Yeah,
use that,
yep.
which is great. It gives more smoke flavor. But there's nothing really like actual logs.
Right.
There's nothing really like
With
actual
fucking
hardwood.
bark on 'em and
Yeah.
shit.
This is what I have. It's there's a company out here in Texas called Centec Smokers. That was first time I cooked baby back ribs. So there's like a fire off on the side, and you close the lid on that thing, and it's amazing. And you could
I'm
adjust
building a new
the
house. I
temperature.
should put. It's easy to maintain and everything.
Fuck yeah, it's so easy. Yeah, it's not hard at all. Like I thought it'd be real complicated to maintain the temperature, but you just got to give it some time. So what happens is I start off, like
Oh, there we go.
yeah,
Okay.
Centec Smokers. So I start off like an hour and he's a great guy too. He's got a very cool Instagram page. You can see his work. So I'll start off cook a couple hours before I'm thinking about cooking. So I get everything dialed in. I know like where the baffle should be. I get it up to like 250-ish, and it's amazing for reverse searing steaks and elk meat too. Where I'll take it, and that's the
I saw you
charcoal
doing a
grill
reverse.
too.
Yeah.
So it's got a charcoal grill on it on the side of it as well. So once it's done smoking, then I do it with high heat, and I just sear the outside after it's done. I got it done.
I need one of these.
son. Yeah. Well, if you're in Texas, it's like Texas
need one of
tradition, offset smokers. But
What would you say your favorite meat is?
elk meat.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
too.
it's my favorite.
It's my fucking
It's my favorite.
man.
I love axis deer, and I've had moose, and I love moose. Moose is great. Deer's great, but man, elk hunting is the best.
My favorite.
Eating elk is the best. I killed a Neil guy recently.
Yeah.
That's very interesting too.
I heard
Yeah.
they're pretty good eating.
Really good. Really good. I still prefer elk, but it's just I
heard that's a tough hunt. I heard it's tough to hunt those things.
Dude, they're so tough to kill.
Yeah.
This is what's crazy. They evolve around tigers.
Yeah.
And they're a big elk-size animal. And
'Cause they're from India
run like
originally,
cheetahs.
right?
Yeah, yeah. So I hit this animal perfect. It was a perfect shot at like 52 yards. Clean pass through, like broadside, quartering away. Whack! I mean, I'm like I have my pin on him. Perfect release of the arrow. I hear the whop hit him, and then he takes off like there's nothing wrong with him. He takes off like on your mark, get set, go! Like a firing gun went off. Dude, he just went into a full sprint into the bush. I was like, oh no! And then I start doubting myself. I'm like, holy shit! Did I hit it bad? Like. Like you start all of these, then we found the arrow. The arrow was 30 yards past his body, past where he was standing when he got hit, fully covered in blood. So I'm like, okay, this arrow looks like a dead animal. We have to find this guy.
You got air bubbles in the blood. and
Yeah,
everything.
he's fucked. But they don't bleed. There's no blood trail.
Oh.
They're a different animal. They're so different. The guys are saying we never find blood. Even when they shoot them with rifles, they don't find blood.
Wow.
Yeah, their skin is so tough. And there's something about evolving around tigers.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally, when I found the animals, like a couple of drops of blood were coming out of the exit hole. It went through here, out here, right past the front shoulder, double lunged him. He ran 130 yards, full clip before he died. It probably only took a couple of seconds for him to run 130 yards.
Yeah, he was there.
But we
quick.
never found any blood. We had to like grid the area until we found him.
That's fucking wild, man.
The guy told me that when they hunt them, they'll have the client with a rifle, so the client will shoot it, but the guide will have one round in the chamber ready to go.
Yeah, because when it takes off running, they don't want to lose it.
Yeah, so I'm like, why?
Because they'll lose it in that big mesquite brush. That shit is fucking miserable.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the best animal to bow hunt.
No. That's what I was down in Texas trying to do a spot and stalk on a whitetail this year. I did. I was successful. I used a fucking decoy on the front of my bow.
Oh, nice.
I bet that thing was like, what is that big bitch doing over here? Because he's like, he came bounding out of that shit
Right.
and fucking stopped and was like, and I just buried one in his chest, frontal shot on him.
Nice.
I got it on film too. It's gonna be,
nice.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm doing the YouTube channel now. We just dropped my first episode. My first because it was my elk hunt.
What's the name of the YouTube channel?
Wolf Untamed.
All right.
Yeah, Wolf with an E, Untamed.
Right.
Yeah, so it's
As in
just
Derek Wolfe.
Yes. So I filmed all my hunts from last year, so that's gonna be like the first season, and then we got some cool shit coming. For
Oh,
this
that's
next.
awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Neil guy thing is like it was successful. I killed him one arrow, died quick, but part of me is like,
That could have gone way different.
yeah. Like if you have a bad shot at all, like if you have a questionable shot on an elk, you could hang back and trail him, and usually either you can get another shot in him or he's gonna die.
Yeah.
But with the Neil guy, they run so fast and so. I mean, I never saw an animal move that fast after I got hit with a perfect arrow. It was just because you hit an elk perfect, like they'll hunch up.
Oh, the elk are like
Yeah.
super clumsy too.
Yeah.
They're fucking stumbling all over the place and shit and knocking shit over.
Well, they have this giant fucking antler rack on their head. Imagine how much that must be throwing you off, banging into trees and shit.
Oh, they probably love when they shed that shit. They're probably like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, for a month.
Yeah.
And it starts growing back again. Like, here we go again.
That's, to me, is the craziest shit ever.
Yeah.
Like a deer in velvet, and feeling how soft it is and all the blood vessels that are still going through there.
Yeah.
That shit is wild to me.
Is that guy going to shake it off?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on drone.
Get off.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Look, he's so happy.
He's like, yes.
The moose just shook it off.
That's why moose walk around pissed off all the time. They're just like, ugh.
The moose are the most ridiculous. Those Yukon moose that have like a table like this on each side of their head.
I'm going up there with Aaron Snyder 2024.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Snyder and I are going to go up. In 2024, we're going to do Yukon moose and Alaskan coastal brown bear.
Whoa.
With our bows.
Whoa.
Like 10-foot brown bear.
Oh, my God. Dude.
I want to try to get him to like stand up when I'm fucking at full draw.
Come on, Derek. That's not necessary.
I'm up there like antagonizing him, trying to get him to fucking stand up.
That's not necessary. That's one thing they haven't imported down here in Texas. It's like they have everything else here. You know, elk is not it's not a tagged animal here. It's not a managed animal like it is in Colorado and everywhere else.
They
There's
just
an
have a bunch of them
allocation.
at high fences, right?
Not even in high fences, even in low fences. Like they just have elk out here, and it's almost like an invasive animal.
Really?
It's so weird because you can hunt elk 365 days a year in Texas.
Well, you can always harvest the meat. Well, yeah, I see Ted Nugent always talking about harvesting
Texas-
elk.
yeah.
The Texas elk.
The Texas wildlife model's very different because it's mostly private land out here.
Yeah, it's
And-
90%, right?
Yeah, and there's most of the animals, like when you have these big private ranches, a good percentage of them are from other countries.
Yeah.
A lot of Indian animals, a lot of African animals, and it's amazing to see. Like the place I was at in
Sable,
South Texas.
fucking sable running around.
Yeah. Oryx. They're majestic. They're
Zebras fucking running
fucking
around.
My
everywhere.
wife saw a zebra outside of Austin. She was driving. She goes, I think I just saw a fucking zebra. I'm like, welcome to Texas, baby. These people have zebras,
They have fucking zebra, kangaroos,
ostriches,
fucking
and shit.
ostriches running around. Dude, it is fucking insane.
Yeah, you can just have
It's
animals.
like a
here.
full-on safari.
Yeah, there's more tigers in captivity in Texas in private collections than there are in all of the wild of the world.
That's almost scary. What happens if these motherfuckers?
There's thousands of tigers in Texas. Thousands. Thousands of tigers.
Bengal tigers.
All kinds of tigers. All kinds. Like they got everything. What kind of tiger you need?
What kind of tiger
What kind
you
of
need?
tiger
White
you
tiger?
need, Derek?
You need
want a fucking
panthers?
tiger? I can make
You
it
want a
happen.
fucking tiger?
You just have to drive like real deep into the ranch.
Well, the size of these fucking ranches here are
Oh my God.
insane, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
30,000
thousands
acres.
of acres. Yeah.
100,000 acres.
The
There's
one
a
we were
place
at
in
in South
Wyoming called
Texas
the Wagon Hound. Have you heard of the Wagon Hound?
No.
There's a place called the Wagon Hound. It's like one guy owns like 300 and something thousand acres. And it is like prime fucking elk country. Prime.
Man.
Every animal you can imagine, prime.
Man.
Everything. Whitetail, mule deer, bear, lions.
Where was he at?
turkey. It's in Wyoming.
What part of Wyoming?
Douglas.
Wow.
So you just
I
take
still
20.
haven't been to Wyoming.
So you
That's a
take
place I wanna
25 and
to.
go up past Cheyenne. So it's in between Cheyenne and Casper. It's like right in between there, and he owns all this huge, vast
God, that area is that fucking part of the country is so amazing.
It's unbelievable. It's so much fun to go up there. Because
Yeah.
It's just to drive around.
If you're gonna own a ranch, that's where you own one.
Yeah,
Somewhere like
Wyoming.
Wyoming,
Yeah.
Montana, like that kind of shit. Like, god damn.
That's what I've been looking for. I have a place in Fairplay, Colorado. So that's like South Park, just south of Breckenridge. You know what I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. And I border a million acres of national forest. I have 70 acres to myself, but the rest is national forest.
Oh wow.
And it's like, it gets pretty western when we get out there. You just go back there, start walking. You start coming across lion tracks and bear tracks. And
That's my favorite hunting term when things get western.
yeah, yeah. That's what you're looking for. I'm looking for an adventure, man. I don't want to just step
Exactly.
out of my truck and be like, oh, swap, and then
Right.
get back in the truck and leave.
Of course. Yeah.
That's not what I'm looking for, man. That's
No.
why, you know what's crazy to me? Because you probably buy a lot of landowner tags, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I do it. Like because I'm building points right now, so I still put in and apply for that stuff, but I can afford it, so I just buy the tags, you know. But some of these fucking tags, like the Western Hunt Expo, this guy bought a fucking deer tag for $725,000
Where? Is
in
it like
Arizona, the
Strip?
Arizona statewide gov tag for mule deer.
Oh.
So he knows he's going to kill,
okay.
like, you know, but all that money goes towards conservation. It's all
Yeah.
So he writes
it's
off
an
half of
amazing
it, you know?
model. It's an amazing model.
awesome.
The tag model and the Pittman-Robertson Act and what they've done with, you know, the percentage of all sales of goods of hunting gear and outdoor gear all goes to conservation. It's an amazing model, and
Yeah.
a lot of people aren't aware of that. But that the vast majority of the money that goes towards animal conservation in this country comes from people buying bullets, people buying rifles and bows. That's where the money comes from.
Yeah. Well, did you see in Colorado they're trying to get rid of the over-the-counter elk tag?
Why?
Because in-state hunters are pissed off about these out-of-staters being able to get the same, you know, getting to hunt the same areas as they do. Because with that point, most people don't understand how those points. I didn't even understand it until I started really getting into it about how hard it is to actually draw tags in coveted areas. It takes years. It might be a once in a lifetime opportunity for most of these areas.
Yeah.
Like where my cabin is, I have to wait 6 years to hunt it. It's a 6-point draw.
Wow.
It might take 9 years, you know, unless I want, because you can't get a landowner tag unless you have 160 continuous acres. So like I'm just half of that, right? So I need double this to get even one tag. And there's elk everywhere. Like in September, they're just ripping bugles all through the backyard. And
Wow, that's got to be wild.
It's pretty
though.
cool.
Just sit on your porch with a
it's
cup of coffee.
Well, it's at 10,000. Yeah. Fucking growling.
Oh, they're the most
I'll just go out there with a
amazing.
cow call in the morning and just tease them, you know?
I told my wife, I'm like, I know you don't want to hunt with me, but please, let's just go one day during the rut. I just want you to experience what it's like. You don't have to hunt. I don't have to hunt either. We'll just go walk around them and sneak up on them. Because when you're around them and they're screaming at you, and then when they
Rattles
fight,
your chest.
I watched a brawl in California last year.
I bet that was awesome.
Oh my God! It was this one giant fucking elk and this little cocky dude. He's like, man, I want to fuck these girls, and they went at it, and he sent them flying down this hill. Holy shit! It was a serious dust up.
They
But
get fucked up when they do
clack.
these too.
We heard it first, clack, clack, and then we got around to the top of this ridge to look over across the canyon and watch it go down. Like fuck. Just the majesty of these animals.
They're
competing
pissing
for
on
breeding
themselves.
rights.
They're
Yeah.
pissing on their fucking neck.
Their dicks are flopping around. They have boners. They're pissing all over the place.
Dude, it's fucking nobody. There's nothing like it. My wife won't hunt. She doesn't hunt either. But she like totally gets it. The need for it. She's from Wyoming originally. Like that's where she grew up. Was Cheyenne.
Oh, really?
So she's been around hunting her whole life, but she never did it. So she won't kill a spider. Like she'd rather put a cup over it and let it suffer and fucking suffocate. You know, like you'll suffocate a fucking spider and an animal. Like she won't kill a moth, right? Like that kind of.
Well, that's a balance, though, right?
Right,
That's
yeah.
kind of woman you want.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
want
So
another
she.
savage out there.
Oh.
That's my lion.
Yeah, that's my line. I don't want to compete for the elk, all right?
Yeah.
We're not competing for it, you know, and that's how we're competitive in everything we do. So I could just see us being competitive in that. But she's, you know, thankfully, she supports me in it, you know, and the ventures that I'm kind of doing now and what I'm looking for. But
People who do it get so addicted.
the elk
the
hunt,
fun about
I'm
it.
like, listen, let me just take you with me.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to even watch me shoot it.
Right.
That's her other thing. She's like, I don't want to watch it get killed. You know, I just
Right.
don't want to watch it. Like
You don't have to.
I'm like, you don't have to. I was like, you
Yeah.
won't be able to see it anyways. But
Just being there is enough.
just being there and
Yeah.
feeling the roar of an elk, like when it fucking bugles and it's like I was down in Sawash when I said I was down in Sawash, and when we were deer hunting, I was like 3 feet from this elk raking a tree.
Wow.
But these big willows, so you can't see. He's like 3 feet. I could have reached over and grabbed him through the bushes. And he's raking his fucking tree, and we're, meow, meow, you know, and he's like just ripping bugles.
That's a stag. Where's that at?
That's a fallow deer.
Is that what that is? Oh, they have a weird noise. Yeah, listen to it'll play
The
again.
red stag is even more impressive.
That's a fallow deer?
He's just burping.
They hunt a lot of stag down in like Argentina.
Yeah.
And I've heard them roar.
Yeah.
Such a
I
strange
want to do that
animal.
hunt bad too.
Is that did they introduce stag to there from Europe, or
I'm
were
not
they
sure.
there?
I'm not sure.
They have a lot of them down there.
I want to go to Ireland and do it, like where,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like in the Highlands.
I don't think you're allowed to bow hunt there.
I think you are.
Really?
Yeah.
In some places in Europe, you can't bow hunt. Though,
Well, they're
right?
outlawing in southern Australia now that you can't bow hunt.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But they don't know. That's like the primary way those guys hunt.
I know.
You ever look at an Australian bow hunting magazine?
No.
It's very disturbing.
Is
'Cause
it?
They shoot a lot of feral cats. So these guys are like holding up a dead house cat like a trophy, and you're like, "Whoa!" I was on a plane.
I'm going to tell you a story. People are going to be like, yeah, this guy's a fucking serial killer. All right, so when I lived on a farm in high school, they kind of took me in, and there was fucking people would just drop cats off all the time. So
Yeah,
I
you
used to
have
have
to
to
kill
walk
'em.
around with a fucking 12 gauge and just fucking pow.
Ooh.
And they just like, I mean, it was fucking crazy, but I didn't.
Linnell used to have to do that.
I didn't like cats, anyways, because my mom had these cats that used to fucking try to gouge my eyes out when I was a kid. They just fucking attack me out of nowhere, and I'm like, fucking cats.
So fucking violent.
My house was fucking wild, man. Violent.
You get
I would
attacked
come
by
walking around a
cats?
corner. I'd walk around a corner, and my stepdad would pow punch me in my solar plex,
Oh Jesus!
and just
Christ.
fucking knock the wind out of me.
Is he still around?
He lives. I don't know where the fuck he lives now. I don't know. I don't talk to him, so I don't really. I talk to my mom every now and then, just because I've. But I'll go like 5-year stretches without talking to her, just because. Like
That's
I just
rough.
like I don't want her bringing that negative shit in my life, you know.
I get it.
I have kids and shit. I don't even want them exposed to it.
I get it.
I'm stopping that shit now.
Yeah.
Like that shit ends with me.
Well, congratulations on doing that.
Thank you.
It's beautiful when someone can escape that pattern. You know,
It's hard, man. It's a day like every day is like, you know, my wife gets mad because I have crazy ADHD. So like I'm all over the fucking place. Right? But when I find something I like doing, I'm like hyper focused on it.
don't you think that that's what ADHD? I have the same.
I think it's a
thing.
genius trait.
I have the exact same problem, and I know that if I was in high school today, so they probably put me on some kind of medication when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, they put me on Adderall when I got to high school.
There you go.
Or to college, I mean, when I went to college, because I was like fucking struggling my freshman year, and then I met with the counselor, and she was like, "I think you have ADHD, like severe ADHD." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I think that you're, like, you know, you're really fucking smart whenever you like doing something, but you can't do shit you don't like doing at all."
But isn't that seems I have a problem with that because that's served me my whole life.
I know, but when I was able to take that be able to take all, the way they explained it to me was the wavelengths, right? So your brain waves are like up and like they're all over the fucking place, and the Adderall helps me just like stay here. And I've talked about getting off of it because I don't have like an it's not like unhealthy. No, I'm good. It's not unhealthy, but it's worries me that like, what if I'm like dependent on this shit now, right? And what happens if I can't get it anymore?
How often do you take it now?
Every day.
Every day. How
Yeah.
much?
40 milligrams.
Whoa.
So
That's a lot, right? Dave
I'm
Portnoy
prescribed to
said-
take.
If he takes it that long, he's probably built a small tolerance, you know.
Yeah, I take.
And so what does it do for you?
It just, dude. When I wake up in the morning, my fucking mind's all over the place. Like I wake up in the morning, like ready to go right away. Like I jump out of bed, fucking ready to go, and I'm like up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Like my emotions are up and down.
Because of Adderall.
Not because of the Adderall. No, when I take
Because
the
of
Adderall, because of the ADHD. When I take the Adderall, you know how people without ADHD, when they take Adderall, they're fucking.
So when you wake up in the morning, it's the no Adderall.
Yeah.
And you're all over the place.
I'm
Then
all
you
over
take the
fucking place.
Adderall
and it's like, I'm like laser focused.
Huh.
I take my Adderall and a cup of coffee, like ton of stimulus, fucking throw a chew in, take a big shit, and I'm fucking ready to go.
Yeah, man, I got to stay away from that shit. I think I'd love it.
Oh yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, that's what so I was finding myself like when I started doing this radio show 2 to 6, like that 2 o'clock mark. Like normally I'm done by that time, like my whole life, right? Football's, we practice early. Everything's done early. By 2, 3 o'clock, we're like in meetings and kind of getting out.
Right.
So to start work at 2 o'clock after I'd like tortured myself in the gym for fucking an hour and then cold tubbed. And then I have one of those forged. I saw you fucking post it, and I was like, I'm gonna check this company out.
Oh, Morosco Forge.
Yeah, they're fucking
the
sweet,
shit.
man. Easy
we
to
got
maintain.
a different one out here that's even more brutal. We got a blue cube. They got a new blue cube they're sending us to. It's not, the water's not still. It's like a raging river. And so you never develop a thermal barrier.
Yeah.
So you get in there, it's 35 degrees, and then the water's just pouring around you like a river.
Yeah.
Like,
The whole time, just fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, you get
Belly
a break.
breathing.
When you do the regular cold plunge, people think it's really hard.
After a minute and a half, it's like after
pretty
that
numb.
90. If you get past that 90-second mark,
Yeah.
you're pretty much numb.
Yeah, it's pretty numb.
But
and
if you ever feel how whenever where the water's like moving down there by your feet,
Yeah.
that part of your feet stay cold because that water's constantly
that's
moving.
what the blue cube is like. And the new one, apparently, they're laughing. They can't wait to give it to me and torture me. The new one is supposed to be really brutal.
I want to
They
try
have,
it.
if you go to Blue Cube guy's Instagram, he's got some videos of it in action, like what they're doing with it. And it's just like a river in there. Like you're sitting in the middle of a raging creek.
Yeah.
And it's
So
35
you never
degrees.
get used to it.
You never get used to it. No thermal
I love
barrier.
it. I love the cold tub.
You
I
get
love
out,
it.
you feel so good. I wish I could explain to people because people think it's like some macho thing.
It's not.
It's when you get out of there, you're so in love with life. You're so happy.
Yeah.
You're so
No anxiety.
No
The
anxiety.
anxiety's gone.
I feel so good, and I feel so like friendly and so happy.
Yeah.
It's just it ramps your dopamine up 200%.
That's crazy.
And it lasts for hours. Yeah, Huberman is just a
They
giant.
said like what is it?
proponent of
2 or 3 minutes can last you the fucking rest of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is the blue cube. This is the new one. Look at that motherfucker. Look at that. So you get in there and it never stops moving.
Yep.
So there's no thermal barrier and you just freeze your dick off.
And you don't have to do it long. Like
No,
you don't have to
3
sit there
minutes.
3 minutes and you're fucking good.
I do it before workouts now. Cam started doing that and he was telling me he was doing it before
I did
workouts.
it. That's what I did when I played. I'd
you?
go into the training room and fucking. I would sometimes I would do a contrast,
Mm-hmm.
but I always finished in the cold tub because then I'd jump in the shower real quick and like thaw out, and then I fucking
Yeah.
felt good.
Yeah, you feel fucking
Guys would
great.
sit in the fucking hot tub and they go out and practice. I'm like, dude, I want to fall asleep when I sit in that motherfucker. I don't want to sit in there
Right.
for 10 minutes and then go do anything.
You know what's good though? The sauna's really good before workouts.
Oh yeah.
Like just to stretch.
We had a big infrared sauna that we could all kind of get, like 3 or 4 of us could get in there and
Yeah.
fucking do a little stretching. I'd get in there in full pads before practice and shit and like get moving around.
Get
'cause
everything loose.
We're about to go out here and fucking bang. I don't want to
Yeah.
fucking tear something, you know?
It makes a difference. I like to do like 10 minutes before a workout, and I get in there at 185 degrees and just stretch out, warm up, get
Yeah.
loose, do some breathing exercises, and then I can go hard right away. Whereas opposed to when I do the cold first, I like doing that too, but I don't do that on like kickboxing days. On the kickboxing days, I'll do the sauna first. I get in there for like 10 minutes, just enough to get loose.
Because you're rotating so much, you have to do that.
Then I start jumping rope. Then I start stretching out. Then footwork and shadow boxing. And then I give myself time to let everything warm up. Whereas with the cold, I like doing the cold plunge and then immediately doing bike rides. So I'll do like the fucking Echo bike.
Yeah.
And then I get warmed up with that and then pull the sled. So it's nothing where I'm like leaping or exploding. Nothing, no quick moves where you worry about tweaking something.
Right.
But
Grabbing a fucking kettlebell and swinging it. And
God, it's so good for you. Those cold plunges and heat,
it's
the
good
contrast,
for your brain, your body,
everything, man. And I love the sauna before I go to bed. That's my favorite. I'll do the sauna, like I'll listen to my set. Like, so I do a set like at the comedy club, and then I'll put it on my phone, and then if you get old school AirPods, are the only ones that work. Other AirPods die. Like the new ones, the Pros and all those die off from the heat. The heat
Yeah.
kills them. Somewhere around 190 degrees, they fucking sputter out. But the regular ones are good. So I'll just listen to like my set, go over my material a little bit, and then I sleep like a baby.
that's nice. I have an infrared sauna too. I use it all the time. So
Those are supposed to be really good to work out in. Like a lot of people do stuff in an infrared sauna. Like
you'd have to
they'll
have
do
such
yoga
a
in
big.
there.
I'd have to have such a big fucking infrared sauna. to
They
be able to
make
do
them
that.
like that.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
fucking pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who has the fucking space to put?
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really fucked with infrareds that much because the people that I talked to said that the real work that had been done in terms of like studies of the benefits was done with the regular sauna because they can get hotter. because the regular ones get to like, you can get him like Laird Hamilton. He goes up to like 200 plus degrees. He does his shit.
I can't do that.
He wears oven mitts and he rides a salt bike in the sauna at 200 degrees.
Why?
Because he's an animal. He's a crazy big wave surfer. And
Crazy bastard.
He's in his 50s and he's maintaining his body in a way that was unheard of. I mean, he's, I believe Laird is 55 or 56, somewhere in that range. He looks fucking phenomenal. He's in peak shape.
Yeah.
Every day he has routines that he develops where he takes weights. He'll take like a 70-pound dumbbell and jump in the water with the 70-pound dumbbell and take it all the way to the bottom. And he has this super deep pool and then springs all the way up to the top and all the way back down to the bottom. So he's 59. The guy's a fucking animal. He's an animal, and he just lives to surf and stay fit.
Did you have him up? Does he have videos of him doing this shit?
Oh, yeah. He's got videos on his Instagram.
Is he a good follow?
Oh, he's a great follow.
Yeah.
And he's just like the calmest, most chill, like focused guy. Like he's one of those people you're around him. You're like, oh yeah, of course you're a world record holder, big wave surfer type individual.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And
That probably feels
In the
so good to
mornings,
go
really
back
fresh.
and roll.
That's when I'm the strongest. That's when I feel the best for training. I have routines in the patterns more than just the actual activities. It varies just on the time of the year and also my physical state. It could be Monday, Wednesday, Fridays in the pool, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays on the land. I mean, in season, out of season, there's a lot of variety within the training, which is what keeps it interesting for me. So I don't really have a real set thing. I'm not a bodybuilder or in a program where I'm just doing a certain, which kind of leads to some gains and some falls, but it's part of what it takes to kind of be ready to do what I want to do.
Functional training.
yeah. And, he's developed all these different routines. And they have a website, too. He has a website that's dedicated just specifically to these pool workouts and all these different things that he does. But
I think that here's the other thing. People put too much emphasis. They're like, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't know what to do. It's like, dude, you don't even have to go to the gym. You can get a workout in your bedroom.
Well, I follow so many people on Instagram that do like daily workouts. You could do just what they do. It's not hard to do, and there's a lot of bodyweight stuff that's available online too.
And do the kind of training for like the shit you do in life, right? Like so me, I do a lot of. I put my pack on with 90 pounds in it, and I'll just fucking ruck. I'll just get on the fucking treadmill for 30 minutes and ruck on an incline, and just fucking put I'll throw a podcast in or something just. So I could kind of zone out, and then next thing I know, I fucking went 3 miles.
Right.
It's like, oh fuck, I went 3 miles already. Okay, cool. And then I jump off and do something else, But I like that. I think that it's the same with the cold tub, right? So if you did it in the morning, your brain is already like, okay, I've gotten through this.
Yeah.
So I can get through whatever the fuck else comes at me.
So you would do all this,
do that
and
with
then
a
you would
workout.
show up at work on the radio station, and is that when you realize Adderall helps? Because then
I started taking more. So I started taking more because I was like, I need more Adderall at this time of the day.
juiced up for the show.
To be fucking
Yeah.
psychological, mentally available.
Right.
Basically, because I would be sitting there and my co-host would be talking, we're sitting like this, and he'd be talking to me, and I'd just be like, and he'd be like, hello, and I'm like, oh shit, sorry, and he's like, the fuck are you thinking about? And I'm like, dude, I'm just all kind. You wouldn't even
Yeah.
I was thinking about what it would look like if I threw you through that fucking window. That's what I was thinking, stupid dumb shit like that, right? It's so silly,
Yeah.
And he's like, my wife was like, hey, I think you need to fucking maybe take a little more Adderall in the afternoon. She's like, you sound like a fucking psychopath. And I was like, all right.
And it
All right,
helped?
sorry. And it did. It helped.
What did it do?
But what has helped, it just helped me. I just would take a half a dose of it, right? But then I was like, man, pay close attention to my heart and how my heart is doing. And my doctor was like, you're fucking perfectly healthy, everything's good, because I did that for 3 months, and then I was like, let me make sure my heart's still good and it's not affecting me, because I was actually getting better sleep at night.
Really?
Yeah, deeper sleeps, straight REM sleep. For
This is like an ad for Adderall.
I know,
It really
it's
does make me
wild.
want to try it.
Everything's good if you don't abuse it, right?
Right.
Just
Well,
about, not everything, but most,
lot of things.
Most things, if you don't abuse them, they were made for the right reasons. Most things.
Yeah, there's a benefit to them, but so many things are easy to abuse.
Yeah. Well, Adderall, I mean, guys, people get hooked on the shit.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like they just take more and more all day long.
Yeah, I've
like
heard
it's
some
like that
stories.
invincible pill, you know?
Yeah, I just stay away from anything that gives me too much confidence. Generally.
Yeah.
Generally, I try to stay away from confidence and I have like douchebag tendencies. I want to suppress my douchebag. I like being a nice person, and the best way for me to be a nice person is like to keep the ego in check. And that's why I like weed. That's why I like mushrooms. I like things
Love
that
mushrooms.
yeah. I like things that just settle me down and keep me in a good zone, a good space.
Yeah.
Put out good energy. You know.
It's like it's like you know, my wife was what did she refer? It'll come to me. I can't remember what the fuck it was that I was even thinking about just now. But she was mentioning something to me about I know what it was now. So she calls my alter ego Chad.
Chad's the bad guy.
Chad's the bad guy. So like if I'm gonna drink alcohol, it's tequila, because agave is like an upper and not a fucking depressant. Tequila is the only alcohol you could drink that's not a depressant.
Right. Is that true? Is that true? We went over this once, right? It's like kind of
shaky space.
Well, that's what got me drinking tequila.
that.
So now you're telling me it's fucking wrong.
Yeah,
So I've been.
if you think that, I would say stick with that thought.
I'm just gonna stick with it because if I think it, then it's fucking true.
I think
right?
we
Whatever, it's all
Googled
in
this
your
though
head.
once.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
And it's it's something. It is different. It's definitely different.
It's different, right?
Yeah.
And then you process
no
it different as
studies
well.
on it, so
No studies. Well, there's the Derek
yeah.
Wolfe study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
Well, I've heard
2023.
somebody told me that. I was like I did this thing in Mexico where they showed us how they make it, how they distill it and everything, and he was like, you know, I think he's the one that said that to me, but I don't know.
Well,
Fuck
Ron
him.
White sells tequila. Number one. It's awesome tequila. And Ron White, he swears by it. He says like that it's the only drink that he can drink. He doesn't feel like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I remember looking into it, the things that people say why it might be is because there's less additives in it, and some of those things are what lead people to some of the negatives of alcohol.
Oh, really?
Hangovers. And yeah, it's like
What about moonshine though?
it's clear. Well, I mean that's really stronger. It's
With
really,
starch.
but it's
or
still
not
alcohol.
starch.
That's why like the breakdown
yeast.
is like it's alcohol, so it's going to have the same
Interesting.
effect as every other alcohol.
Interesting. People
And
don't
that-
seem to have as much hangover on tequila either.
Yeah, I don't feel too
Yeah.
bad. Like last night at the show, I had like way too much tequila,
That was fun.
and I was
That
it was
a fun
fucking
night,
awesome.
Right? How fun was Roseanne?
Oh my god, I was like, no way, this is awesome.
Dude, Roseanne Bar is a regular at our clubs out here. It's
She
crazy.
just pops in.
Just popped in. And we had to like, you were in the green room while we were talking to her and going on stage, but it was funny. Because she's like, oh, I don't know, I just ate mushrooms. And I go, Roseanne, just go on stage. Just go on stage. She goes, you think so? And we were all like, yeah, 100%. And I go, when do you want to go up? She goes, not after him. Let me wait and see how this feels. And so she waits, and then, you know, she had a real good conversation with Brian Simpson. They were both laughing. She goes, I want to go on after him. So Brian brought her up, and he brings her up, and I mean, it's one of the greatest standing ovations I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, they've
It was
lost their
amazing.
minds.
They didn't know she was going to be. That's the beautiful thing about these shows we do, these Joe Rogan and Friends shows. Nobody knows who's going to be on. So it might be Tim Dillon, Shane Gillis, Ari Shaffir. No one knows. Mark Norman. No one knows until you see them go up. And so when we introduced Roseanne, I,
love
was
that
like,
idea.
holy shit. Yeah, those are, they're fun shows, man. And they're all
You
my
never know.
friends.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and last night was packed. Don White, David Lucas, Hans Kim, William. I mean, it's like these are amazing, amazing shows.
And they all crushed it. Like,
Yeah,
everybody
It was
crushed.
a good night. It was a good night. But watching her go on stage, man, it fucking made me so excited about Austin. So excited about doing this club, and so excited about comedy.
Yeah, your new spot's gonna be fucking.
They went nuts for her, man. She can't wait. She went to visit the club today, the new club,
And what's it called?
Comedy Mothership.
Comedy Mothership. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be fucking. Because dude, the vibes in there last night were awesome.
Yeah, they're fun.
So
It's-
I can't
it's a
even
good
imagine
thing.
when it's your actual spot.
It's gonna be fun any day now. And Roseanne's going to be a part of it, which is exciting. And Ron, having Ron there. Ron was another one. When he won after Roseanne, they're like, the show keeps getting better.
It just kept getting better.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was unbelievable, man. It was like the perfect build up.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And then you come out. You could have gone for fucking 4 hours if you wanted to.
Yeah, but it was a perfect amount of time.
Yep.
It was a great night. And just the hang there, too, like the green room hang.
Yeah, man, that was big,
Very
awesome
fun.
vibes.
Austin's a great town, man. Something special about this place. It's also a lot of people that have come here have escaped from a place that was suppressing, and they got here and they're like, oh, this is better.
Freedom.
Yeah. A little bit of freedom. Yeah. It's like California's just such a mess, man.
Fucking disaster.
It's like an ex-girlfriend that you used to love her and now she's doing meth and works for the cartel. I'm like, God, what happened to you? You know, it's like
You used to be hot.
You used to be my favorite. I used to go back to California. I was like, fuck yeah, West Coast forever, bitch. Like, we got the ocean. It never rains out. We got the Comedy Store.
But there's going to be humans shitting on the sidewalk.
Yeah. And the pandemic. Well, it was always bad. It was getting pretty bad in 2019, tent-wise. The homeless crisis was getting pretty bad, but it's just out of fucking control now. And I don't know how they put that genie back in the bottle. It doesn't seem like they're doing anything radical to reverse the policies that put them in that position in the first place.
No, they're just making it worse.
Well,
then the people move out of the state and they go to another state and fucking vote the same way.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I'm like,
everybody
what are you
says
doing
here.
that for?
Don't California my Texas. It's the motto out here.
Tennessee says the same shit because
Yeah.
Nashville's a badass city. Mm-hmm. Awesome place.
Well, when things get soft and things get easy, people start. They put forth politicians that are going to send these progressive values out into action. And just like, these people, the unhoused, we need to help them. Like, yeah, you do need to help them, but letting them camp on your fucking streets is not helping anybody.
That's not helping anybody.
You guys
You're
are
enabling
in being empathetic. You're ruining your city.
You're just enabling at that point.
Like, you don't allow littering, so you're not even supposed to throw a cigarette butt on the street, right? We all agree. So why is it okay to have your tent there? Why is it okay to have bags of shit there? Why is it okay to have like stacks of dirty clothes and a bag of meth? Like,
And needles.
the whole thing is just so strange that
And piss and
it should be priority number one to keep the city clean, and it's not.
It's not, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
The people that live in the country should be the priority number one, not any of this other shit.
I know. I know.
We're sending
We were talking about that.
the amount of money that we've sent to other countries.
I know.
You could solve the issues.
Yeah, you
with
could
that
solve
money.
all of them a long time ago. All of them.
And that's our money. We gave them that money.
Yeah, it's tax dollars.
Dude, I paid 48 cents on the dollar for 10 years straight
Yeah.
to these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to do with it?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That pisses me off. That's what
should.
pisses me off. It's what they do with the money.
Yeah.
You're going to you'll throw me in, like, dude, it's tyranny. It's tyranny.
Yeah.
Sorry, tyranny. It's fucking
Yeah.
tyranny. Like,
It is in a way.
our founding fathers are rolling over in their grave thinking about the way we're paying taxes. And
They probably never expected civilization to get where it is.
no, there's no way.
Nobody did. And it's
They wouldn't have written laws the way they did.
for a politician to step up and call it the problem that it is, and then like allocate money towards that, the immense amount of money that you need, the same kind of money we're dedicating to other countries, that would be very unpopular, because so many people who have money would be like, no, you're not going to take my money and give it to poor people. Get the fuck out of here. But
Yeah.
it's the only way to fix this country. They've got to do something. They've got to take some very involved strategy. It has to be very well thought out, and it has to involve a shitload of money. And
Well, it's pretty clear they have a fuck ton of money. All this
Yeah.
money that they're giving to, we're
Ukraine.
giving it to Ukraine.
yeah, where'd that come from?
Where the fuck did that money come from?
How, you guys just had that?
You
could
guys
have
just
fixed
had
the school
that
system a
sitting
long
around.
time ago?
It's kind of like whenever, you could have fixed all the public schools. You could have made sure that we're, like, instead of fucking kids getting taught on TikTok how to dance, the kids in China are learning how to take guns apart and how to fucking do math and how to fucking, like, why aren't we teaching? You want to teach me about all these fucking genders, but you don't want to teach me how to change a tire, how to change oil in my car, how to manage a checkbook. I had no fucking. I came into the NFL and they gave me $2 million, and I was like, "What the fuck do I do with this?"
What did you do? Just put it in a bank account?
I just fucking put it in a bank account. I had no idea what the fuck to do. I was like, okay, I guess I can get a bank account, a debit card, and a credit card.
What's the first
And they're like,
crazy
you
thing
have
you
no
bought?
credit. They're like, you have no credit. Like, I was like, well, what the fuck is credit? What is that? Like, how do I build credit? And they're like, you have to pay bills
back.
You got to pay bills.
You got
I'm
to
like,
take loans and pay the loans off.
I was like, that's fucking bullshit. I said, they're literally controlling everything. That's when I started like losing my mind about the control, because I have an issue with authority already, as you can imagine.
I can
Fucking-
imagine.
You think I fucking had any roles growing up? No, I did whatever the
Right.
fuck I wanted when I
Yeah.
wanted to. Like, I'm not gonna raise my hand and go take a piss. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got to worry about how I'm gonna eat dinner tonight, fucking lady. Like, leave me
Right.
alone, But when I started paying taxes, well, I got that check and I was like, well, I thought it was $4 million. They're like, no, they take the taxes out. You don't even get to see it. And I'm like, I don't even get to fucking touch the money yet, and they take it right away. Like
They take a piece. They didn't do a single push-up.
They didn't do fucking bullshit.
Jack shit. No deadlifts.
Oh, they
took
didn't
no
do any
hits.
fucking squats.
Nothing.
They didn't take on any fucking double teams or get
no
any
injuries.
concussions.
Nothing.
Oh,
and they
all
take half.
And they take half of it. And then they send it to another country while we got fucking literal people that fought and almost died and gave their life up basically for our country. And
In
they're
a
fucking
tent.
sleeping in a tent.
With mental illness problems and no therapy, no counseling.
But we'll send fucking $500 billion to another country.
Yeah, it's weird. We're so strange.
It pisses me off. And so I just think that like we should have a say in what the fuck they're doing with our money, you know? And they're like, "Whoa, you got to vote this way and that way." It's like you could do all that voting, but the lobbyists are what are doing all the fucking shady shit in the back, you know?
Even if you do voting, you're not going to stop them from giving that money to Ukraine.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
This is all at a level that regular voting doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
I mean, unless you get some very headstrong politician, like some JFK type dude who puts a stop to
Look
everything.
what they did to him.
Exactly.
And they just admitted it, and people are like, "Well, whatever."
Sort of admitted it.
Yeah. I mean, but we all knew.
It's a slow trickle. It's like they're admitting that COVID was a lab leak. It's like this slow trickle.
Yeah.
You
They
know,
give
like-
it to you slowly.
Yeah, I mean it's a smart strategy. Instead of all at once saying we were wrong, you slowly say it seems we were wrong. There's a low probability that we were wrong. There's a reasonable probability that we were wrong, and then it just keeps getting more and more. Yeah, we were wrong.
It's the same with the vaccine.
Yeah, it's
The
gonna be.
vaccine.
It's the same with a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
And these narratives that get pushed on mainstream media are. It's shocking how they don't feel bad for what they do. It's
They don't.
shocking. It's shocking.
Because, dude, these people are all like evil narcissist motherfuckers. Like,
I don't even know if they're evil. I think they're captured. I think they're captured by an institution that revolves around advertising revenue, and that's heavily sponsored by pharmaceutical companies and all sorts of other
the
corporations.
Super Bowl was sponsored by Pfizer.
I know. How about that
fuck?
devil dance that dude did at the Grammys, and it says "Brought to you by Pfizer."
Dude.
Like you just showed the devil and a bunch, and you're basically saying you sponsor the devil. Like what? I'm not even a religious person. I'm not like a person who's like into the devil, but I see that and I'm like this. I mean, if you want to drive conspiracy theorists nuts,
This is how.
especially Christians,
Yeah.
like Christians who don't want this like tubby dude wearing a fucking devil outfit dancing around. Tim Dillon said he looks like a plumber. He looks like
Can
a
you
plumber.
pull
Do you
Can
think
you pull it
someone
up?
could have done that on purpose?
Can you pull that up?
Decided to play that Pfizer piece after that, knowing what everyone would get their
No.
panties in a bunch?
No.
Well, I think
They're
Pfizer
all-
was probably already sponsoring it, but they had to know that graphic was going to go over
They
the.
didn't. They said
They didn't.
They
Pfizer
asked into
didn't
this.
know.
They were not an official sponsor of the event, but they did sponsor the broadcast, and they didn't get to say when that piece went up.
Oh,
you
I
know.
didn't mean Pfizer. I mean the people that put together the broadcast. They knew that ad was going to go up.
Oh, that's what
right
I'm saying.
after
Like
that.
whoever is in control of running those pieces at the end was like,
That's probably
watch
funny.
this.
If someone's really funny,
Bam.
that would
That's
be.
what I'm saying, like-
That's very funny. Yeah, I mean,
Someone could have done that.
it's also a very good strategy in terms of getting people to make that video go viral. And for that dude, what's his name? Sam Smith.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For that dude, that's like the greatest thing that ever happened to him. I didn't even know who the fuck he was until I saw that thing.
Can you pull
Yeah,
it
yeah,
up? Because
yeah.
I'm confused.
Have you seen it?
I don't think I've seen it.
It's ridiculous. He's
gotta see.
dancing around. He's in all like red spandex or red leather, and he's the devil, and there's a bunch of demons behind him. And it's brought to you by Pfizer. I
Sam
guess it's a
Smith,
very-
like the fucking
the singer.
singer?
Yeah, some singer dude. I didn't even know who he was.
I'm trying to find the videos. Are everyone else has made comments on this video already? So I'll show you some of the pictures of it. I guess this is what his performance looked like. It was very devil-ish.
Dude, I think there's all kinds of wild shit going on with these fucking
Yeah, that is
these Hollywood elitists,
that's
dude.
very strange. It's very strange.
Some of these Hollywood fucking people are.
It's very strange that no one was like, "What the fuck?" Candace Owen, of course, she's going deep.
Oh,
with
you
this.
know she's fucking going.
I was trying to find just the video.
She's like, this is fucking.
Candace Owens had one of my one of my favorite moments with the New York Times,
This is how it aired. Like
the
this.
Grammys. Brought to you by Pfizer. So Pfizer with like hellfire behind it.
That's what I think. That's what I'm saying. Someone was
Maybe.
like, "Watch this.
Why not?
Fire it away."
Hey, man,
Yeah.
you got to think.
Did you see her
someone,
face right there? She's like, what the fuck is this?
people who are responsible for the graphics and all the computer stuff, those are guys like us.
no.
They're like
I
internet dudes.
Thought through. I was like,
Of course they
There's a
did.
Good chance. It doesn't have to be, but there's a good chance this is some fucking
Good
troll.
chance of some dude laughing his ass off
Yeah.
at a bar,
With big
telling
fake-
everybody what he did.
big fake tits on.
What the fuck
Is that an NFT?
Yeah, it's a digital art that's created by Beeple, and there's an NFT that goes with it. So if you see that little QR code, if you
Yeah.
click on that, you get the NFT. But that NFT thing doesn't mean anything to me. But that means something to me. Just the art that it's like animated and it moves around and stuff. And it's you know who
That's
that guy
cool.
is, Beeple.
I've heard of him.
He does digital art every day. Every day he puts a new piece on his Instagram and on his website. Every single day, 365 days a year. And he's like, this is all his stuff that's on his Instagram. It's all like,
Oh, that's fucking wild.
it's all very, very weird shit.
What is that? What is that?
He's just real weird. His stuff is very, very weird. Yeah. Oh, you're on Twitter. Yeah. Go to there's his photos. So it's all this very bizarre digital art that he makes. Is that Logan and Jake Paul?
That's Logan pouring his drink on Jake. What the fuck? So weird.
That's so weird. He's a funny dude, though, man. We had him on as a podcast guest. He's really fun and super, super nice guy. Fucking talented. But it's really hilarious. He's like, as people are trying to find hidden meanings in my art, he's like, why'd you have dicks in missile silos? He's like, I don't know. They're fucking just fucking dicks.
That's kind of what came in my head. That's what he fucking was thinking about.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to come up with a new concept every single
day.
day. So he's got like these giant Trump robots with like Hillary Clinton's head operating him. And it's so strange. Giant babies with machine guns, like that type of shit. But so he made that for us. He gave it to us. So I guess it's an NFT. But that NFT thing, people seem to have wised up to that.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody was going nuts and spending all. Look at this. Is that Tucker Carlson fucking agreeing to Eminem?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Tucker should put that on his wall.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, he's quite a character.
Fucking Tucker.
But yeah, the NFT thing to me is like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's kind of like I started to dive into the crypto shit.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
Dude, there's guys in the NFL putting their whole fucking paycheck in there. I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots.
That seems
I was like,
not wise.
This is not smart. I was like, it's not regulated.
Do you know anybody who lost money in that FTX thing?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I do know somebody. They just don't want to talk about it because
Right.
it's fucking.
Do you know anybody, Jamie, that lost money in that FTX shit?
No, not like that real investment money. No.
Oh.
I don't even know anyone
Just
that was really
a
involved with it.
little fuck around money, maybe.
I didn't even
Yeah, that's all I did. I did like
so.
10 grand into crypto, and that was it.
I love the idea behind it. I love the idea behind Bitcoin. Decentralized digital currency controlled by the people. You can't fuck with it. People can't. Yeah, I like that idea, but I don't know. It seems like it's just like a long road, and it seems like if I was in charge of fiat currency, I would do everything I could to sabotage that.
Yeah.
And
Well, think about Elon. Elon said one thing about fucking mining for the Bitcoin. That was bad for the environment, and fucking right down the fucking shitter. Like
is that true? Like he killed.
Elon's mentioning it.
Yeah, he
How
said
much did it
something
kill
about
it?
he said something about he's not mining anymore because it's bad for the environment, right? It's like it takes too much
Oh.
power to fucking
To mine Bitcoin.
to mine Bitcoin.
Yeah. Adam Curry mines Bitcoin, just for a goof.
And I remember because I was watching it every day. And
Yeah.
like he said that, and the next day it was like fucking. And that's the other thing. Like with the New York Stock Exchange, it's like there's a time when everybody can fucking trade, right?
Yeah.
Like these fuckers are up at like 2 a.m. all fucking night, trading fucking Bitcoin back and forth all night. It's like you guys are fucking like crackheads with this thing. you
Well,
know?
it is like gambling
It is.
in many ways. I mean, it has to excite the same parts of the brain
Oh,
that get people addicted to gambling. Because I know a lot of stockbrokers. This is one dude that I knew from the fight gyms back in Boston. He was a stockbroker, and this dude was a wild motherfucker. And then one day I met him out at a bar, and he was wearing a suit. I go, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, dude, I'm a fucking stockbroker now." He was doing coke and fucking. He was wild. He's like, "I'm making so much money." I'm like, "Wow, that's the kind of guy that gets into stock." He just wanted that thrill.
Yeah, the thrill.
He
the
loved
big
it.
swings.
He
the
loved
big
it.
crazy swings.
Yeah. He was getting hammered and telling me all like what happened, how he became a stockbroker.
What year was that?
Oh, it had to be the 80s.
Oh, in the 80s.
This had to
yeah.
be like it
The
had to be
heyday.
89 or 90 because it's like right when I was starting to do comedy. I ran into him. I remember thinking this dude's a fucking maniac.
Straight off of Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. Oh, there were so many of those guys. Like Tim Dillon tells stories about his days when he was selling subprime mortgages. Like these guys were animals. He was partying all the time. Like Tim had a serious drug problem when he was selling houses.
Functioning
On all kinds of pills.
They
and
were
fucked up
smoking
and-
crack and all
Yeah.
kinds of shit. It's crazy. Smoke crack with me.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Let's make this deal serious. Yeah. It's a wild way to live your life.
It is, man.
The thing about the Adderall thing, about living your life taking Adderall all the time, is like, God damn, those people seem productive. I know people that take listen to me, I'm like talking myself into doing Adderall. That's what's going on here.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you to do it because once you start taking it, you're probably not going to stop. And that's kind of how it's been for me.
The comedians that I know that take it are fucked up, though. I don't know if it's good for comedians.
You don't seem to have an issue getting shit done.
Yeah, we get shit done.
So
Right, but maybe we get shit done better. That's the thing.
What is
Yeah,
this?
just- yeah.
Coffee?
meth.
It's a stimulant.
I like stimulants.
Yeah, coffee.
different level of meth. I think we're doing all
That's
right.
what my wife always says. She's like, sorry, I can't just wake up because I'm not taking meth every morning. And I'm
Whoa.
like, oh.
Well, but she's the one. Yeah, hey, baby, you told me to take extra.
I'm like, you told me to take more. And she's like, I know. Dude,
Just
my wife is
joking.
hilarious. Yeah, she's just joking with me.
Is there any long-term problems in terms of like toxicity with that stuff, or is it just a stimulant? It's like
It's one of those. I haven't had any issues. I've been taking it since I was 19. So
you're
until
the
it
poster boy for Adderall.
until they tell me that this is fucking hurting you,
yeah.
you know, I
Have
get.
you ever tried not taking it?
Oh, it's not good.
Like how many? How long have you gone without taking it?
Oh, 5 days.
What's that like?
It sucks. I drink like fucking 20 cups of coffee. I'm all fucking jittery and wiry and dehydrated and fucking everything's fucked. Like my bedroom's a mess. The fucking clothes are everywhere.
Yeah.
Like my living space takes the biggest hit because I like can't even think about picking up that fucking towel because
Right.
I'm like locked in on something that's way over here.
Yeah.
So I just step over problems and fucking get to this thing and just ignore the rest.
And Adderall,
And Adderall
makes
makes me be able to like okay, I could do this and then I could do that and then I could like it helps me like manage the day, right? And the other thing is I've spent so much time battling depression and anxiety that's already built in that I like by the end of the day I'm fucking wiped because I've spent, probably 4 hours like controlling my fucking anxiety, right? My anxiety, depression and like dealing with that like on and off throughout the day because it just like hits you in waves. So then doing work and then getting other like all the shit that I have going on because when I was playing football I was just focused on football. That's all I had to do was focus on football. Now I'm focused on all the other shit that I wanted to do. So I'm focused on bow hunting. I'm focused on podcasting. I'm focused on doing a radio show. I'm focused on filming. I'm focused on business deals that I was looking to work on.
all these things you're juggling.
So like I wake up in the morning. That's why when you were talking about warming up before you get to work out, like I have to start warming up again because I used to warm up like for like 30 minutes before I did anything, doing all kinds of movement and all this shit. Now I just walk downstairs and just fucking, let's go. Fucking grab a kettlebell and start swinging that motherfucker for 30 rounds, like, and getting on the rower and fucking hitting cows on the rower and then grab my bow and shooting it. Like it's all, timed out, but I don't like taking Adderall before I work out. I like not having it because then I can go all over the place with it. I like taking the mushrooms before I work out.
Really?
Yes.
How much?
Just a tiny little microdose, just capsules. I have these capsules made that
Why do you like doing that before you work out?
because it helps me like channel my anger and rage and shit that I need to release in there. Because that's why it's like church to me going in there. I get to release all that all the hate. Pretty
You work
much.
out by yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing that too.
Yeah.
I was working out with a trainer, which I really enjoyed too, but there was a thing that was missing. It was like the alone time.
Yeah.
The alone with just the struggle.
I need it. I need
Yeah.
that alone time, and that's why when you talk about getting in the cold tub or doing a tough workout, like how many times I'll do 20 rounds of something, right? So of a circuit, and it's never heavyweight anymore. It's all just a circuit. So I'll do like 6 rows or 6 cows on the rower, and then I'll go from the rower straight over to like do gorilla rows with the kettlebells, right? So you're like keeping a flat back and working on your transverse core, and then I'll grab a big heavy kettlebell and swing that 6 times. And then I'll do halos with a kettlebell, 6 aside, and then I'll get down and do 6 push-ups, and then go up and knock the tick off. Like that's 1, right? So okay. So and I'll look and be like, I got 19 more.
Whoa.
The whole time you want to quit because your heart rate's at like 150 to 155 the entire time from the rower because you have to. You want to do it as short as all power. Just. And when I pull that rower, dude, I'm pulling like 2,000 every time it's like 2,000 every time I pull. Because I pull that fucker hard as fuck, It feels like it's going to break sometimes. So I just get in this mode with the shrooms. Like I just get in I call it the flow state. And you've probably heard about the flow state before. It helps me, and that's what it did for me on the football field. It helped
When
me
did
get
you
into
start
a flow
doing
state.
it in football?
2016? The year we won the Super Bowl? The year I got fucking life-changing generational wealth money? Imagine that, right?
Yeah, imagine that.
The year I decided that I met my wife and my fucking life changed forever for the better. Like, I would stop.
You think
fucking,
mushrooms was involved in all that?
I know it was. It helped
So-
me think clearly and make decisions with confidence.
When did you start using it? Did you start using it in training, or did you?
Yeah, I
start
started with
at
training.
first?
Well, I had a body worker. His name's Adam Sturr. And this fucking dude is like, he is a fucking mad scientist. And he would like get me, he had like a whole protocol that he did with me. So we would do a Monday stretch and movement. It's all movement. It's not stretching. It's just, he's manipulating your body. And we started, using shrooms, and like before he would prime me up, he'd do like a 20-minute prime before I'd go to the stadium and get me primed. And dude, I'd fucking be vibrating. It was wild. He did all this like breathing exercises with me, like to get me going. He works with a bunch of guys still in the league. Like Von Miller works with him. He works with a bunch of guys. And dude, he fucking was like, he's like, maybe try the microdosing. Try it, And I was like, okay. So I found some good shit and started trying it. It was actually liquid form, the shit I was doing when I was playing. Yeah. And I had this, and he made a pre-workout for me. It was all clean and it was like sustainable. And I'd fucking drop 2 little drops of that fucking shrooms in that, shake it up before the game and drink it. And I'd go out there and warm up on a field and I'd be like on a whole different planet. Like I would start to get fucking mad and start getting ready. And like, dude, by the time I get my hand in the fucking dirt and we're about to play the first snap of football, I'm so fucking ready to go. I can't even explain it to people. Like my focus is so hyper focused and everything is so slow around me that I'm moving faster than everything else. I'm just moving faster. So like I fucking worked. I'm like working. Like I can like watch his hands. It's like the Spider-Man movie when he's like, like I'd watch his hands fucking go by, and then I swim over, and I'm keeping it so tight to his shoulder as I swim over and like fucking cut the space, and then like accelerate this way. And when you tackle quarterbacks, you can't land on them anymore. So like when I get to the quarterback, I'd be able to like focus on keeping the ball from getting up here so he could throw it. Like I'd be able to lock it in with my elbow and like fucking roll back and fall the perfect way. It was like, and then you watch it on film and it's like snap of a finger, it happens, right? Like a football play is 6 seconds long, and that's a long football play. The quarterback Tom Brady is stepping back and going 1, 2, 3. So in 1, 2, 3, I've got there and all this shit has happened. And in my head, while it was happening for me, it was slow. It was all slow, like. Hips were moving right. The way I could feel the way my foot hit to make sure it was hit, because you want your toes pointed in the direction you're going, right? So I would fucking work the move. I used to call it a chop swim. So I would chop his hands, grab his shoulder, pin his shoulder down like this, and then swim over. And before he could like readjust, I'd have to cut that corner. Whoa. So it happened so slow to me. To me, it was like it took a minute for it to happen, but it was like the snap of a finger.
Wow.
And the whole game would go that way. But like, I also had this crazy like rage going on in my head the whole time.
That's Viking shit.
It has to be. Because it felt so natural to be in that state.
Like all your ancestors probably did
And in the violence, like being able to play violently, like finishing the play, like finishing through a motherfucker, not just like grabbing him and tackling. No, I was trying to finish through a motherfucker, and it like was just in me to do that. From the time I stepped on the football field at 7 years old, put a fucking helmet on, number 59 with a fucking bar down the middle. He put me a middle linebacker, and a coach said, when you see the ball, you get the ball. I said, all right. Fucking Bobby Boucher that shit. Fucking Let's go. I loved it, dude. I hit this fucking kid, and I know he probably never played football again, the kid I hit.
Wow.
He probably said, fuck this. This ain't for me. Because I fucking, the first picture I take, I'm fucking, like, couldn't wait to play football. Like,
Wow.
I finally get to be violent and not get in trouble, you know?
Yeah.
Because the violence was just in me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it, like, you could talk about the childhood and this and that, like, it created this violent fucking person, whatever. No, I was violent when I came out of the fucking womb. My mom said it took 3 people to change my fucking diaper. She said, fucking had to have one person fucking hold your arms and one person hold your legs and then somebody get to change you.
Wow.
Because you were so fucking strong. She's like, you're so strong, and just like thought it was hilarious to like knock somebody over, you know?
That's hilarious.
And like fucking knowing that they couldn't hold me down was just funny to me, I guess, as a kid. But that's just how
The
I'm
mushroom
built.
Viking connection is wild. Because if that really is true, if that just ignites that part of you, that ancient DNA, it completely makes sense. Because that was the lore of the Vikings, that they always took mushrooms when they raided.
It brings out, I swear to you, it brings out this crazy, like, I call it the savage. It's like releasing the savage, you know? Like I finally get to open the lion gets out of the cage fucking once a week, you know?
How did you decide on like how much to take or when to take it? Did you do a lot of trial and error?
There was games where I took a little too much.
What happened?
Oh, dude, the lights are so bright. On a night game? Fuck.
Wow.
Fucking lights are bright. There's fucking, like going to Dallas. One time we were in Dallas playing, and I took a little too much. And when you're walking out on the field, you're walking through a bar pretty much. Imagine walking through, like, I'm going to fucking war, but I'm walking through a bar and all these fucking fans are like having drinks and hanging out. And I'm like, I'll kill all of you. Like, that's what I'm thinking the whole way out of there. I would kill you all. I'll fucking murder every one of you. Like, that's crazy shit going through my head before a game, though, because it's what I'm doing, right?
Well, it's probably your body thinks you're going to a war.
Yeah.
Like, I think when you do something like that and that many people are watching and you're on mushrooms and you have that Viking DNA, your body probably like, oh, it's wartime.
Oh, wartime. Kill time.
Yeah.
Time to kill. Rape and pillage time.
Jesus
Like, that's in my
Christ.
DNA, you know?
Yeah.
And and we get out there on the field, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, you know when you start to, like, whenever, because it's a wave.
Yeah.
When you take, like, an eighth, right? You're waving. You're riding those waves. Dude, I'm standing there, and they're, like, announcing the announcer's, like, getting ready to announce us to come out, and I'm like, and normally I can, like, get it to stop and just, like, settle into that breath. But no, I just was like, and then finally I was like, okay, I got to fucking get it together, dude. And when we walked out there, we just came running out. I almost had to stop because it was so mesmerizing. I was like, my mouth is wide open. I'm fucking I'm like, dude, I'm going to play football. Stop looking at the fucking Jumbotron. This thing's fucking huge. These Jumbotrons are huge. There's fucking the girls dancing on poles and shit. Like, this fucking crazy. There's smoke everywhere. And I'm like, holy shit. And then the first quarter was fucking interesting. Very interesting. I was playing really well, but I was like not there. Like, I had to hear the play twice sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, he'd say the play right to my face, and I'd be like, what'd you say? I'd look at him like, what? And my middle linebacker's like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, I took too much. He's like, all right, I got you. You know, because we're fucking buddies. He knows what the fuck is going on.
How long did it take before it leveled out?
Second quarter, it started to level out. And then it turned into like, dude, I was fucking dominating. It was like, I was like, all right, that's how much I need to take. I need to take half of that. Half of that, and I'm good. I figured that's why in my head I thought half, right? So that's what I did. Instead of doing like 3, I was doing 4 of those drops. So I did 2. I changed it to 2.
Did you ever get it to the point where you knew you could take it again in the middle of the game?
Oh, I
Or
did.
did you-
I did. I would take it at halftime too.
Oh, you took it at halftime. Yeah, that's what I
2
was
drops
gonna
per
ask.
half. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then it was like
You
by
said
the-
it like, well, of course I did.
yeah, of course, because I would make that little I tell you, the
Right.
drink. I'd fucking make the drink. You know,
I was
I
just
called it the special sauce.
so the full experience of when you were like tight in the zone, like seeing everything in slow motion. How long would that last for?
Sometimes that's why I had to take it at halftime because it
Right.
was like a 2-hour deal.
Right. So
It
it
gave you
started
like
to
2
fade
hours
off a little
And-
bit.
Yeah, and there's so many fucking TV timeouts and shit going on, and time where you're not on the field. So like being able to just get a little dose of that, keep me keep the savage out there.
Wow.
Like it was And I prided myself as being a great run stopper in the NFL. Like I knew that like if you ran the ball at me, it was not your day. Like it was gonna be. I was the number one run stopper for almost 10 years. Like 9 years straight as the number one guy in the league. So I took that to me. That's like one of the best compliments ever. Like fuck those sacks. I don't care about the fucking quarterback. I want to fucking. I was a man out there. I was splitting double teams and then tackling Derrick Henry for a loss. Like that's the shit we were doing. And that motherfucker is a load. Like he's fucking built like a defensive end, dude. He's like 6'4", 6'3", 240 pounds.
No weight class limits in the UFC, because there is. It's 265. That's the heavyweight division, and the money in the UFC was way more. Like it was more than any NFL player could make, and they all decided to start fighting. It would be a bloodbath. Yeah. I don't think people understand the level of athlete you're dealing with when you're talking about the elite NFL players. When you're around them, you're like, what the fuck are you?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
It's a totally different type of person.
It's like a whole different human.
Yeah, and there's enough of them, and if they decided to fight, it would be a real problem for regular-sized big dudes.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, I mean, 265. If I cut to 265,
yeah,
I mean, 5 minute, I could go fucking all day.
Yeah.
I could go all fucking day because I'm used to carrying, 20, 30 pounds more than that.
Yeah, a lot of like Francis, who's probably the biggest guy in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, he's
Francis
huge.
Ngannou was regularly over 300 pounds, or in the range of 300 pounds. Like he was when he got his knee operated on, and he's not fat. He's
No.
fucking gigantic.
No, he's built like a fucking
Yeah.
yeah.
He's built like a perfect fighter.
He's exact. If you were going to build a perfect fighter, that would be it.
Tall, super muscular, but immense natural strength.
And super
Yeah.
athletic. He's
Yeah.
he's like the. If you were to draw up a D end,
Yeah.
a defensive end, outside rusher, that's how you draw it up.
I know that this is going to be an amazing fight this weekend between John Jones and Cyril Gane, but man, am I disappointed that Francis isn't in there.
I know.
Francis versus John Jones, to me, would have been like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything wrong with Francis. You can't make any mistakes. Those nuclear weapons are zinging by your chin.
Dude,
It's
imagine.
zinging, man.
I always think that's the other thing I think about, man. I'm like, dude, these fucking fighters. I became good friends with Cowboy. So Donald and I became good friends, man. And
Donald's
I was always,
awesome.
He's fucking awesome. And
love
I was
that
talking
dude.
to him about it, and I was like, dude, like the way you guys fucking have to train just to get ready for a fight
Yeah.
is insane. It's fucking insane. The training is insane. Most people are like, oh, I could get in a fight and do this. Go out there and fucking just wrestle for 30 seconds and you'll be fucking laying on your back, you fucking turd.
Yeah.
Stop acting like you could do this shit.
They
Try
don't
doing
know.
it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, they don't know.
For 25, I mean, I wrestled, right? So wrestling in overtime would go to 9 minutes with heavyweights a lot. And you'd be fucking tired as hell. And nobody's trying to kick you. Nobody's trying to punch you.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to choke you out.
Have you thought about doing competitive jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
You would be
Yeah.
amazing at that.
Yeah, I like
That'd be a
jiu-jitsu.
great thing for you, too, like to get obsessed with.
One of my best mentors in life, he lives down in South Florida. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he does it every morning. And he's like, he's in his 60s now, and he's like 230 pounds, like 6'2", 6'3". He's a big dude, extremely successful. But he loves jiu-jitsu. He does it every morning. And I'll go in there and roll with him, and he just fucking dominates me, dude. I can't, because it's not about strength, and it's
Right.
not about speed. It's like a chess game. Mm-hmm. It's just a chess game. So,
Yeah,
he knows what I'm going to fucking do long before I even thought about doing it. Like, he already knew what, like, how my body is going to react to this. Like, I'm exhausted, and he's just laying there laughing, Like,
Yeah.
haha, fucking idiot, Like,
I think that'd be a good thing for you to get into.
I'll get on top in like full mount, and he'll like sweep my fucking legs out from under me somehow and like crawl around I'm like, how the fuck did you get me onto my side already? How did I get here? And then next thing I know, my arms like up here, and he's fucking like, he gets your body in a position where your strength can't get it out.
Yeah.
Like I can't muscle through any of this shit, so I'm fucked. And I fell in love with doing it, so it's I'm looking to do. I work, with, Chris Camozzi. Mm-hmm,
sure.
So Mosey and I are good friends.
Isn't he fighting bare knuckle fights now?
Yes, psycho.
Dude, they're doing a big bare knuckle card. Have you seen this bare
Mendez
knuckle
is
card?
doing it too.
Luke Rockhold is fighting Mike Perry. I'm like, holy
Wow.
shit. And who's Chad Mendez fighting? He's fighting someone really good too. Pull it up. It's on my Instagram. No, it's not. It's on Luke Rockhold's Instagram. It's a wild card. It's like they're getting like real MMA stars. Like Luke Rockhold's a star. Like having
Oh,
Luke
yeah.
Rockhold.
Well,
go over-
Chad's a star, man.
Yep.
This dude's.
That's right. He's fighting Eddie Alvarez. That's
Yeah.
right. Whew. That's crazy. That's a crazy fight. Also Ben Rothwell. But Mike Perry and Luke Rockhold, that is a wild
I wonder what
fight.
the money's like in these fights.
Must be giving him big money because
gotta be.
Luke Rockhold makes a lot of money in the UFC, but he said it was way more than he made in the UFC.
So
I assume Luke Rockhold makes a lot of money in the UFC. I shouldn't say that. I don't know how much he actually gets paid.
I'm sure it's a.
He was the champion.
Yeah.
You know, at one point in time, I mean, Luke Rockhold in his prime was a motherfucker,
I
man.
know.
He was fucking good.
He was fun to watch too.
It's kind of interesting seeing
Francis commented on it. He'd be.
this
an
is dope.
interesting
Oh
addition
my
to
god.
that.
Well, I know they've given they've given conversations to him, or they've had conversations with him, I should say. So has Bellator. So has a lot of these places.
Who would fight him bare knuckles?
Some person who wants to get punched in the face by
Somebody
Francis
wants to get
Ngannou bare
fucking-
knuckles. There's got to be somebody. If they come up with enough money, there's dudes out there that would do it.
I mean, dude, fighting bare knuckle, your face is gonna get fucked up. Like
Your face gets fucked up. They have gnarly cuts. A lot of these
they have
guys,
scars and shit
yeah,
all over their fucking.
all over their
yeah.
face. You're getting cut a lot. It's just that bone. But my thought was like, that's how MMA should be. MMA really shouldn't have gloves on.
I think so too.
Because I
think
was
they-
like, you really have a false sense of confidence of what you can do with your fists. Because this is not really designed for punching things.
No.
It's designed for grabbing things.
grabbing. Yeah.
Yeah, elbows are way better for striking, and knees and kicks are way better for striking. But your hands break so easy. But when you wrap them up in gloves and then put a foam pad over it, then you could
Yeah,
throw,
you're like a sock
throw
and
hands
bopper
at
out there,
people.
fucking.
It's weird because it's the only thing in your whole weapons arsenal that you're allowed to cover up with padding and make more effective. You don't do that with your elbows. You don't do that with your knees.
Which would make
your
more
shins.
sense to do
Yeah,
with your elbows. Like if you're going to try to protect somebody.
yeah.
But that's the wrapping of your hands and everything. That's to protect your own fist.
It protects your own fist, but it does allow you to hit harder too because you could be more indiscriminate with
Yeah.
your punches.
I think these didn't the cage fighting start without? They started without him, and
Yeah.
zero weight classes too.
Yep.
That was fucking wild.
Yep.
You got the
Oh.
clip of the little dude with the fucking giant.
Which little dude?
One of the first fights that they
Hoist
ever
Gracie?
had. I don't think was it Hoist.
Who did he fight?
It wasn't a guy in a gi though.
No. There was a lot of those mismatches in terms of size-wise. There's Keith Hackney. He fought Emmanuel Yarborough. Emmanuel Yarborough was a sumo wrestler who was like fucking 350, 400 pounds. I mean, how big
This
is
is the-
Emmanuel? Yeah.
It
And
says
then
200 versus 600, but I don't know.
600. Well, they lied a little bit. But Keith
There's no
Hackney
way
was
that
probably
guy's
about
fucking
200.
600 pounds.
So Keith Hackney's, I believe he's a karate guy.
That's
And
him.
he came out, that's Keith Hackney. And the size difference is fucking crazy. When you see it when they're actually going after each other. So Emmanuel Yarborough is walking towards him. Look how small Keith Hackney is.
Yeah.
He's so much smaller. But he hit him with like basically like a bitch slap. Look at that.
Bow. Bow. Oh
I mean,
shit.
it's crazy. I mean, imagine that guy being on top of you. That's a big slip up right there.
Yeah, he fucked up.
So he gets back up to his feet and he cracks him again and again. You don't want to lose to a guy that's that much smaller than you. But how much time can Emmanuel do this for?
Oh, he threw him
went
out
right through the cage.
He went right through the cage.
See, but Emmanuel's already exhausted. To be that fat, I mean, he's so overweight. There's no way he can maintain.
This
Whereas
is wild.
Keith Hackney just has to kind of survive past that first 30 seconds. I mean, I don't even know what kind of training Emmanuel did for this. He might have just he was a sumo guy. Like he's just walking him
He's
down.
chewing gum.
Yeah, it does look like he's chewing gum.
Oh, you see him try to hit him, right?
He's chewing gum.
Yeah, look, he's chewing
Is that
gum.
his mouthpiece or is it gum?
He's chewing gum.
It seems like gum.
It's the smallest mouthpiece of all time.
Keith Hackney had another fight where he fought this guy Joe Son, and Joe Son got him in a headlock, and Keith Hackney punched him in the balls over and over
Oh.
again. Oh, he drops him with the punches. That's it. That is crazy. It's crazy to watch.
That's why.
that.
I mean, there's a reason why he's hitting him with his fist
Yeah.
like that because it hurts to fucking punch somebody in the head.
Yeah, I mean, he's breaking his hand for sure here. If not for sure, it's definitely a high probability. Like that, those punches, he's doing like ridge hands. Like, see, he just looked at his hand like, holy shit. I don't know if they stopped or if they kept. Yeah, they stopped it. Jesus. The early days.
Dude, he's just standing there fucking
Yeah.
whacking him.
Really should have kicked him. But the early days, those days were just, it was a different world. Like, no one knew what worked or what didn't work. It was all just like people had these crazy ideas about kung fu and death touches, and all that shit went out the window.
Death touch.
Yeah, there's some people that still believe in that, man. If you go to McDojo.com, McDojo on Instagram, he's always got these people on that are like doing fake martial arts and death touch, and people fall down.
That's the dumbest fucking.
So people still believe in it, which is wild. So what is this guy doing? He just touches him on his neck, and the guy falls over. See, this seems like they might be playing.
There's no fucking way that that's real. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I think some of them it's people just fucking around, but some of them are like this. Like, these guys are they're just delusional. Like, this guy really believes that this would work. Look, he just steps to the side. So easy. Like, the other guy just is frozen. Look at this. It's hilarious.
He chopped him in the low back.
He gave him a little lumbar chop. You know, the old lumbar chop. It's a deadly move.
He just put his hand in his face. Oh, dude, this is...
up until 1993, those people were everywhere. No one knew what was real and what was fake.
I mean, they do it at churches.
Yeah, right? They speak in tongues, and yeah.
You see the guy that says he's not gay anymore? Have you seen that one?
I'm not gay no more.
I don't like men's no more.
I am delivered.
Shit,
he starts dancing,
crazy.
and then all these guys like dance with him. It's so homoerotic. It's so strange. The whole thing is so strange.
It blows
Gay
my
conversion is so the strangest thing.
And they like throw their fucking their suit coat over somebody. Like a whole crowd of people fall over. Like, what are you guys doing?
Those people that speak in tongues, I always wonder, like, are they faking it? Are they just like in a trance? Like, what is that? I always wonder. Like, some of them are faking it for sure. Just like with the past live regressions. Well, some of them are probably
people are
faking
so easily manipulated.
Yeah,
man. Like, I mean, if my 3-year-old can fucking manipulate me, and my 3-year-old daughter manipulates me all the time. Like, I'm like, well, I guess she can't go to school. She has a tummy ache.
Yeah.
Because like, Daddy, my tummy hurts. I can't go to school today. I'm like, okay, whatever you need.
Yeah, my kids.
My wife's like, don't fall for it.
They always go to me. I'm the softie.
Yeah, me too. My wife's like, she's always telling me, she's like,
I'm like, what's the big difference? One day, stay home. No, make them go.
No, make them
have to go.
I'm like,
they gotta go to school. Toughen them up.
Like, what, Jesus?
Toughen them.
Like, I'm a girl. You're a girl dad too.
Yeah.
You know what it's like to have girls. So like, I have a teenage daughter, and then I have a 3-year-old. So it's like I have like, the teenager is like this super genius, like 4.2 GPA, honor student in all college prep classes.
Wow.
Right? And then Roxy is like this crazy, Roxy's my youngest, Tatum's the oldest, and Roxy is like this crazy athlete already that wants to hunt with Dad. She wants to hunt so bad. So I take her, at 3 years old, I take her out into the elk woods.
Wow.
And I'll get her up close to like 20, 30 yards from an elk.
Whoa.
And we'll sneak up on them.
That's
and
awesome.
She's like figuring it out already, how to like maneuver through the woods and how to look at tracks. Like, but to her, every track is a bear track now. Like, we're up there, right? You gotta think we're at 10,400 feet. There's fucking black bear and bobcats and mountain lions and shit everywhere. Like, we found a mountain lion kill, and I told her about that, and she's like, now she won't walk through the woods without a stick because she thinks that stick's gonna protect her from the mountain lion. But I have a pistol on my fucking hip, you know, like, we don't walk around up there without a gun.
No, I wouldn't imagine you
Not
would
with these
want
fucking
to.
giant lions and bears running around. You just walk up into the turn the wrong corner out there, and you fucking come across a sow and her cubs.
Yeah.
And she'll fucking kill you. You know?
Yeah, not good.
And I make sure Roxy is always standing like right in front of me. Like I'm walking right here, so that nothing can get to her without me seeing it or hitting me first, you know?
Right.
So she can get away if she has to.
That's a wild experience for a little girl.
She loves it.
That's awesome.
She loves it. I'm like, you want to go on a hike? Yeah. She's like, she always says, she has like a little bow, and I'm like, she's like, should I bring my bow? And I'm like, sure, bring your fucking bow, whatever.
That's awesome.
You know, it's not going to kill anything, but we'll. But she's into it. Like, she really wants to. And at night when my wife says she's doing it because she's manipulating me to stay up longer. But she'll like, I'll read her. I read her 5 books a night. I read her 5 books, and then sing her songs, and then tell her. And she wants to hear stories about hunting. So she wants to hear my hunting stories. She'll be like, tell me about. She'll be like, tell me about the wild cat. And I'll tell her like in detail, not like this, you know, the sick details, but like I'll end it with and then Daddy got up on the hill, and I pulled my bow back and whack. And then she starts laughing, loves it.
Wow.
Like, she's like, yeah. She's like, all right, tell me about the elk. Tell me about the bear.
Wow.
Tell me about the deer. You know, she wants to hear them all. Tell me about
really
when you played
cool.
football. She'll say, "Tell me about when you played football." So she wants to hear like what I did in football, and I'm like, "Well, I tackled people." She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because they had the football." And she's like, "Oh." But she's like so crazy advanced at that age already, as far as like doing math, right? Doing simple math already at 3 years old, like blows my mind.
It's hard to tell people that don't have children what it's like. It's a very strange feeling, the love that you have for those people,
That's
these little people.
crazy.
It's transformative. Dave Chappelle once said to me, he goes, "It didn't just change how much love I have." He goes, "It changed my capacity for love."
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a great way to put it.
it is.
Yeah. It's a
Love
life-changing
and-
thing.
Just like for me, it was that unconditional, that unconditional love, man. It was just
Yeah. And for you, with your insane background in your childhood, to be able to provide a great background for your kids,
it's important to me.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
And that's I was, like I said, the best decision I ever made in my life was marrying who I married. I married right. I did it the right way. And it's the way we met, you would think it's going to fail for sure. I was fucking, we just won a Super Bowl, and I go to Vegas, and I'm fucking on a bender. I'm on a fucking bender, like doing shit I shouldn't be doing. And walk into this fucking club, the Tao nightclub. You know Tao,
Yeah,
the restaurant, and everything?
sure.
So she was our waitress for the fucking table service, because we ate dinner and then we walked in there, and I was fucking, I got a fucking $1,000 or $100,000 fucking chain on, $100,000 fucking Audemars bust down AP on my wrist. Look like a fucking kid. That's what she said. She was like, "He looks like Kid Rock." She's like, I walk in there and I look, I'm carrying a bottle of Don Julio 1942, fucking drinking straight out of the bottle. And walking in there, I got a big bracelet, crazy fucking diamond bracelet on, fucking stupid, dumb waste of money like an idiot.
What is the first dumb thing you bought?
The first dumb thing I bought,
Like right when you get signed,
Right when
you
I
get
signed my
the
big
$2 million
contract?
Yeah.
yeah, I bought $300,000 worth of jewelry like an idiot. That I can never get the money back for. It's just fucking dead. I had to make $600 to do that. I had to make $600,000 to pay for that $300. So I fucking got $600,000 worth of jewelry. I'll never get the money out.
Is that a standard thing among guys in the NFL?
I played defensive line, and a white guy on the defensive line is usually not like, that's not normal, right? So like, that's just the culture I was in. So I thought it was fucking. My whole life I spent trying to just fit in where I could, and like it wasn't until I like retired where I was able to find out who I really was, Like who am I really? Because my whole life I've been trying to fake it because I didn't want to be that. I've been trying to be somebody else, trying to discover this other person because I didn't want to be
who you were,
who I was,
Yeah.
which was poor white trash.
Right.
So I've been trying to run from that. So I've almost embraced that white trash side of me,
But you know how it's important. It's so important for a guy like you to tell this story, because there's got to be some kid listening somewhere that's living a similar life and
They're all over
realizes
the place.
there's a way out of this tunnel.
Dude, my hometown is right next door to East Palestine.
Whoa!
That's my home. Those are my people.
Holy shit!
That's where I grew up. Was right there. East Palestine was fucking right there. It's not like I'm not talking about like 20 minutes away. I'm talking about like 5 minutes away.
Are you talking to people from there?
Yeah. So before Trump went there, actually, I was trying to do something to get water to them, and then I found out Trump was going to give them water, and I was like, all right, I'll just cool. I don't need the fucking spotlight. He can have it. But it is. Those are my people.
What is it
And
like
it's
on
bad.
the ground there?
They can't fucking. They're fucking coughing up blood. For a while they had zero drinking water for like a couple weeks. It was.
And they can't get out of there. Most of those people are poor.
Dude, the average income is like $15,000 a year, $16,000 a year. Everybody's poor. Everybody was steel workers. The steel mills closed down. All the factories closed down. Lordstown was a big factory there. There's a big. So now there are power plants. So there's 3 power plants down there too. So that's fucking. Might be another reason why I'm so fucked. Just drinking power plant water. Ohio River. Swimming in the Ohio River, and there's fucking catfish the size of cars in there. Like, whoa, that's normal. I guess I'll jump in here. Yeah, it's like,
fuck.
It's just crazy. Like my mom will tell me stories about like when I was a baby that she would use. She's like, I used to take rum and rub it on your gums. That's how I fucking got you to settle down. I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
What? She's like, I mean,
I've heard of people doing that to their kids before back in the day.
yeah, but like not now. Like now
That's like
from
something-
from the 19
that's
we
from the
knew in the 90s.
1700s.
We knew in the fucking 90s you shouldn't give you
yeah.
shouldn't even be smoking when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
She's fucking doing blow, fucking drinking.
Oh, man.
I came out all right.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. You came out more than all right. And I really do. I really think it's so important the way you're so honest and you tell your story, because there's people out there that need to hear that, man. There's people that think they're fucked and they're always going to be fucked.
Well, sometimes I get nervous to talk about it because it makes people uncomfortable. But fuck them. Like I'm not here to like
It's not for them.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
If
not
it
for
makes you
them.
uncomfortable,
It's not for you.
then just don't listen to
Don't
it.
listen.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the opportunity to tell my story, because there's gonna be a kid watching this, and there's gonna be a kid that listens to this podcast, and he's gonna be like, you know what, man, I can fucking do it, right?
Yeah.
And that might save his life, because you know what, when I was fucking 10, 11 years old, I used to I put shotguns in my mouth because I wanted to end my life. I wanted to fucking be done. I was like, this is fucking miserable existence. I hate it. I just wanted to end it. But I didn't, and I kept fucking going. And I kept pushing, get to the next day, survive. And then you survive long enough, and then you can learn how to thrive. And then once you start thriving in life, everything's fucking different. Everything. And I didn't realize that until my wife came in my life. She was like, why are you so fucking negative all the time? And I was like, because I expect the worst to happen. That is what I'm used to. The worst that can happen is probably going to happen. Like, oh, I'm going to make it to the NFL, and then I'm going to get fucking paralyzed and almost die. And almost ruin my career before it even gets started. But no, that's not the way to look at things. And she changed that for me. You know, when she came into my life, I had fucking people taking advantage of me. My best friends, people I thought were my family, taking fucking advantage of me, dude. Forging checks, doing all kinds of other bullshit. I never actually lost the money, but I was able to recover it.
But you lost the friendships.
But I lost all those friendships, all of them. Everybody. And they were all like, why would you fucking marry this girl from Vegas? Da, 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 like making a big deal about it. And I was like, because she's onto your bullshit. That's why you fucking don't want her here.
Wow.
She's onto your
You
guys'
just had a
bullshit.
bunch of people being parasites and glomming
Dude,
on.
she saved my life probably. It was only
So
a matter
many
of time. Because guess
stories,
what? I
man.
would have been fucking. My life could have turned out so much different, so many different times. Like that's why life is all about making the right choice at the right time. Mm-hmm. Like there's gonna come. Like if it feels like it's a big important decision in your life, take it serious and make a rational decision. Don't just make an emotional decision in that moment. Like think about it before you fucking do anything. Yeah. 'Cause there's a lot of times in my life where I didn't think about it and I just did it and I fucking paid the price. Like fucking paid the price, and luckily I ended up on top. But and I'm still climbing, you know. I'm still fucking.
You're
going.
you're still a young guy. I'm just really glad that you explained your story the way you do, man. It's really important, and to see you come out of this and thrive, it's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
I just these kids got social media now. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine growing up with that shit?
I can't imagine. It's a totally new kind of
Even having a
adversity.
cell phone, right? I didn't
Yeah.
get a cell phone until I got to college. Like it's.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that's like.
Yeah.
Like when we were kids, think about it, when we were kids and you wanted to hang out with the kids in the neighborhood, you just fucking went to their house.
Yep.
And knocked on the door and door knocked until one of them was fucking home or was allowed to come play. Nowadays, they gotta fucking text message each other and, well, I don't know, I don't want to text too much and be weird. I'm like, what the fuck? I used to fucking stalker call somebody's house till they answered it. Fucking ring all day long.
Yeah.
And, hey, can Johnny come play? No.
They'll never
Quit
understand
calling.
that. It's interesting that you grew up that way, that all of us grew up that way. And then kids today will never understand that. They'll
No.
never know that.
Well,
But
that's how I would go to their house and just ask if I could spend. I knew it, and then I didn't want to go home because I knew it was going to happen there. So I would just go from friend. I'd be gone for a month,
wow.
just staying from house to house and sleeping on couches and shit, just because, and just making it seem like I was, because
sleepover.
I knew that I was going to get fed. I knew that I was going to not get fucking beat up,
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to have a shower. All that stuff was important to me. I was I want to, and then I'd go to school. My mom taught me how to fucking, I'm about to admit to stealing. I used to steal my clothes for school. That's how she taught me how to do that. Wow. You wear a bigger shirt, put a fucking smaller shirt underneath of it that fits you, and then fucking walk out. And I'd be like, okay. She taught me how to do that at a young age, But that's just that's what she grew up around. That's
Survival.
that was fucking that was it, man. It's that tri-state area, that West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, where it all meets.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up place.
It is a fucked up place.
It's the heroin fucking highway. Mm-hmm. Like everybody's on heroin now. Not everybody, you know, just
OxyContin Express.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now fentanyl moves in. It's a fucked up place, man.
Well, Derek, we just did 3 hours, believe it or not.
I could go for another.
That was a
3.
lot of fun.
That was fun, man.
It was really fun. And thank you again. And I really do appreciate the way you tell your story, because I really do think it's important. And I know there's guys out here, all kinds of people out there that listen to that and realize, like, it's possible. It's possible to get through the lowest points
and come out
have
of
an
it.
awesome life.
Yeah. There's always I always see it as it's the coward's way out. You don't want to fucking keep going, so you just give up. You know, I'm not going to give up. Never will. It's not in me. I don't know what that feels like anymore.
Good for you. And for everybody who's listening, listen to what he's saying. There's a way out of everything.
Always.
You can have a better life. All right. Thanks, brother.
Yep,
Appreciate
thank
you,
you.
man. It was a lot of fun. Bye, everybody.